Good morning, 6 o'clock from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Robert Walsh. Raiders continued to make moves yesterday, this time at quarterback. Interim head coach Antonio Pierce announces that Aiden O'Connell, the rookie fourth-round pick, will start against the Giants. In Atlanta, in another quarterback swap, head coach Arthur Smith confirms that it will be Taylor Heineke starting against the Minnesota Vikings, who will also be starting a new quarterback, the rookie fifth-round pick, Jaron Hall. As for the Titans tonight, final injury report came out yesterday. Ryan Tannehill, Chris Hubbard, and Roger McCreary are all out tonight versus the Steelers, but according to Tom Pelissero just minutes ago, DeAndre Hopkins is expected to play despite his questionable designation. For the Steelers, they'll be without all-pro safety Minkah Fitzpatrick as he recovers from a hamstring he suffered last week against the Jaguars. But make sure you're not hamstrung for the game tonight. Tune into the Lee Company Countdown to Kickoff, hosted by 3HL from 4 to 5. After that, Titans Radio takes you all the way up to kickoff at 7:15. And don't forget, you can stream the game for free from the 104.5 The Zone app. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Welcome to your Thursday morning, and welcome to a Tennessee Titans game day. Week 9 of the National Football League begins at Acrisure Stadium tonight. It's Titans and Steelers as Will Levis and all of his rowdy friends are coming over tonight to the Steel City. We've got Ramon Foster joining us in seconds from Pittsburgh, and here in Nashville, we've got Kayla Anderson, Robert Walsh. I'm Will Bowling. 615-737-1045 is the number if you want to jump in as we get you ready for kickoff in the frigid Thursday night atmosphere in Pittsburgh. Good morning, everyone. How are we doing?
We're doing good. It's kind of weird to know there's a game tonight. I said, I got to sneak in a nap today at some point because, we staying up a little later tonight to watch some football, which I'm not complaining about because anytime we can watch some football on a Thursday night, I'm in.
Robert Walsh, old AFC Central matchup. These are very near and dear to your heart.
Oh, I love a good helmet clanging game. I feel like we're going to get some good helmet bangs tonight.
Mm-hmm. Two physical teams.
Well, the news starts this morning with Tom Pelissero literally just about 5 minutes ago telling the world that DeAndre Hopkins, who did not practice yesterday because of a toe injury and is officially questionable, is expected to play tonight against the Steelers. Guys, I'll be honest. Going into this one, if DeAndre Hopkins was not playing, I did not see a scenario where the Titans are going to have very much fun on offense.
Yeah, he's been such a big part of it, obviously, with Will Levis specifically. I think that's what you have to look at because it seems, and, we played the bite from the locker room yesterday, that he just has been able to build that chemistry and trust with him so quickly. And you don't see that usually, especially with a rookie quarterback and a veteran wide receiver. But it looks like those two are on the same page. I love the fact he's playing tonight, Will. I also love the fact that when he has had like some bumps and bruises this year, and even when he doesn't practice, he still finds a way to go out and make a difference on the field.
Right. So looking forward to see what he can do. Looking forward to connecting with Ramon Foster whenever he decides to come to work this morning.
What time
he's
is
just
it there?
loafing in Pittsburgh. 7 o'clock.
Okay.
Robert Walsh has spoken to him this morning.
Bert, you got me?
Oh,
There he is.
there he is.
I got it. My man. Appreciate it.
Look who has joined us.
He's on the phone.
This morning from
Hey, he
Pittsburgh.
heard loafing, though. As soon as
Yeah,
y'all started-
I heard y'all say I was loafing. I definitely heard that, okay? Yes, loud and clear. Good morning. 7 o'clock here, guys.
I know. That's not what a luxury.
You are kind of the voice of God when you came on just a minute ago because we can't see you yet.
Loafing?
Pay no attention to the man behind the steel curtain
Okay, all right.
instead of just the curtain.
Yeah, I'm here. My bad. Just doing a little small detail stuff real quick, y'all. I'm in here. I'm my own producer right now, Bert. So when I get back, I'm coming in the control room. You hear me? and I'm running shop. I'm just letting you know.
I thought you were going to say I was getting a raise. Kind of upset by that.
Well, if I rub you on your back a little bit, Bert, and bring you a cup of coffee, that's the only raise we're getting, baby.
Hey,
okay?
I'll take that. I'll take that.
The bad news for Kayla and Robert this morning is that when Ramon is not here, I am the barista once again of our 8th and Roast coffee, and I have no idea how good this is going to be or bad it's going to be. I don't know where the scoop is. Where'd you put the scooper for the coffee grounds?
That is like the third time somebody stolen the scooper. I put the scooper in the white cup. You know where you need to go to the break room.
Okay.
It was in there last time. I'm like, who steals a coffee scooper? It is the smallest thing ever to steal. And I've always learned that. Never put your lunch in the break room refrigerator. And it seems to be now coffee scoopers is also in that conversation.
Man.
Who takes a coffee scooper out of another room to scoop that Folgers coffee in there?
It's silly is what it is. But I got full confidence in you, man. I know you're a smart guy. You graduated from high school. We won't mention Tennessee because that's such an easy dig. I'm saying, hey, the Tennesseans don't know how to make coffee. You'll be all right.
You made it that one morning that Brad Hopkins was in.
That's true.
And it was very good.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I can usually eyeball it. I did work at a coffee/donut establishment that I will not give a free shout out to when I was in high school. And then sometimes, occasionally, people would drive through asking for ice cream, and then I was not able to fulfill that request.
Are you serious?
There was no ice cream. Let me just make that clear, right?
No.
Okay.
No, and people would drive through and be like, hey, could I have 2 scoops of vanilla, and then I'll take a glazed, and then maybe a medium coffee. Like, first of all, sir, it's 8 p.m. You don't need that coffee.
Oh, my.
Secondly, we do not have ice cream. We do not care.
Yeah.
Is it because you had like the creamer back there? Is that they thought you could churn some ice cream?
It's because it was a Dunkin' Donuts. All right, I'll give the free shout out. It's because people think that every Dunkin' also just magically has Baskin Robbins.
Yep.
For whatever reason.
Because it's associated sometimes, right?
Yeah, that was across the street in Brentwood.
That's funny.
Depending on what kind of coffee you get, it might as well be ice cream. Have you seen those little sugar cube like descriptions of how much sugar's in those frappes and all those types of things?
Well, I know what it's like to make Dunkin' sweet tea, and so I know exactly how much sugar you dump into the mixture of Dunkin' sweet tea. It's really good, but yeah, it's very sugary. But that's why that's why it's great.
We've fallen victim to believing sweet tea is the law in the South, and then you realize that they just open container and pour when it comes down to sugar in there, and you're like, okay, I see why we're judged like this in the South, but I always love the South. You just got to get some Splenda or some light in there other than the heavy sugar.
Stevia is where it's at,
Stevia's not bad.
Yeah, not bad. Or if we can all just be like Coach Mack and just get an iced tea. I don't know if I love that though.
That's just it's kind of too bland.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I'll do hot tea, but not iced tea. Absolutely not.
I've done it.
Well, Ramon, did you see the breaking news this morning? DeAndre Hopkins, who was questionable. I bet you could probably finish my sentence for me for tonight's game.
No, I cannot. I missed it because I got in the studio up here and went and did 2 spots already this morning. What I miss?
Well, DeAndre Hopkins will play tonight.
Okay, that's perfect. That's perfect.
So
there he is.
You've
now
got
he's
that
on the
added
screen.
from Tom Pelissero, and you can now see Ramon Foster on 104.5 The Zone TV. The screen Kayla is referring to in the FNN Bank chat, Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch. Look at
Twitch,
that.
please.
There it is. Not missing a beat, even from Pittsburgh.
Did you guys see Will Levis got slimed?
I did. He's the MVP this week.
Yeah, I didn't even know that was a thing.
Oh, my gosh. The MVP is legendary.
I didn't know that.
It's huge, Kayla. Absolutely.
So a couple years ago when it was the first ever Nickelodeon playoff game, I believe that was Bears and Saints, and there was a big internet conspiracy to stuff the ballot box for Mitch Trubisky, the losing quarterback in that game, to be the MVP. So he's following in great footsteps behind Mitch Trubisky as the MVP.
There you go.
Why you gotta pair him up with him, Will? What we talking about here?
It's Steelers hate day, Ramon.
Okay.
We're not going to see him today, probably.
You said that, and like it was going to be Will Levis's track record as far as his career. You know that's been up and down for Mitch. I don't think this Titans fan base needed to be more down. We've seen that before.
Now, MVP is a very prestigious honor.
It is. It is. And it was cool, too. I think I saw the comments on that. I was like, man, I've always wanted to be slimed. I
Really?
kind of sit with them on that one. Like, that is a good place to be. Like, we saw all this stuff as kids. Oh, slime time. Like, that was some cool stuff. I wouldn't be mad if I got slimed, unless it was in the studio and I was, like, in clothes like that. But I wouldn't be mad if I got slimed.
Yeah, it's like all the players just like had buckets and dumped it onto him after practice. That was funny. Going in the locker room just drenched in slime.
They used to sell it, I think, too.
It was good, too. They put like a little like turf square on the field. That way you couldn't slime the grass at Ascension St. Thomas Sports Park. I don't know what Will Levis had to have known something was coming behind him. Hey, come stand on this one turf square over here. Well, we do nothing suspicious whatsoever. Like, oh, it's just better lighting. Like, what do you think's happening?
No, I actually believe no. Most rookies are just dumb, and you should be. when it comes to veterans asking you, hey, young fella, that's all that. Hey, young fella, come stand right here, and I go, yes, sir, and just leave it right there.
As long as you're not dumb on the field, right?
No, you need to be a savage on the field. That's all we're looking for.
615-737-1045, our number. We'll get to the full injury report coming up in just a few minutes. We'll also take a look at our biggest concerns tonight for Will Levis in Pittsburgh. How specifically will Mike Tomlin's Steelers defense try to confuse him, and what worries you the most as a fan about him going into start number 2 in a short week? 615-737-1045 is our phone number. We've got Coach Mack at 8:20 this morning. Former Steeler and CBS Sports broadcaster Bryant McFadden coming in on the conversation at 9:20. And the Thursday 3 to make you some money coming up in 1 hour as well. Big game day edition of RKW continues next as we talk Titans and Steelers on the other side. It's RKW, brewed by 8th and Roast on 104.5 The Zone. Only fitting to start a morning against the Pittsburgh Steelers with a little bit of Mac Miller. It's RKW brewed by 8th and Roast right here on 104.5 The Zone. 615-737-1045. What concerns you the most about Will Levis making his second start on a short week in prime time in Pittsburgh? We've got Ramon Foster with us from Pittsburgh. Kayla Anderson, Robert Walsh, our producer. I'm Will Boulding. Kayla, we'll start with you on this one. And I use this topic as a hat tip as well to 3HL, who had the same conversation yesterday afternoon. There are a lot of different elements to this that are difficult for Will Levis. What concerns you or worries you the most from the Titans' passing game perspective tonight in Pittsburgh?
Yeah, well, the first thing that comes to mind is this is his first real big test in terms of a road game. And I know that everybody has their opinions on different environments, but from what I've always watched on Thursday Night Football, and specifically when the Titans have played on Thursday Night Football, is it can be difficult sometimes on the road for them, but especially in a place like Pittsburgh, where we've talked about it all week, the Renegade, just the environment that seems to be there, you know, on a Thursday night football game. I think being able to not think about that too much and kind of once you hit the field, you have the national anthem play, it's straight into game mode, right? And not thinking too much about the environment around him. And I think that's why it's so important, too, for the line just to be so much on the same page and being able to communicate in this kind of an environment to help him out as much as you can. So I would say number one for me is not try to get too much in your head with this being on the road, feeling like you have to live up to what you did in that first game, because most likely, guys, it's not going to be anywhere close to what he did in his debut. Now, would we love for that to happen? Sure. But the reality of the situation on a short week of rest, that's probably not going to happen. I think getting frustrated early could be an issue. So he just needs to contain that and know that, okay, there might be some things that happen. Suck it back up and go on to the next play.
Ramon, from your perspective, how vividly do you remember your first road game in the National Football League?
Chaotic. Simply put, man, chaotic. The crowd really means a lot. Mine, as a starter, was in all places, Baltimore, man. And there's a lot of hate in that rivalry right there. And the crowds understand how to be fans, too. And that's what essentially Kayla's saying as far as Will Levis's poise is in a building where they are starving for wins the same way as the Titans, he's got to be able to handle that on the road. And a short week of preparation alongside being young, knowing that they're going to try to treat you like a young guy, can you get over that obstacle right there? Can you be a guy that do the same thing on the road as you do it at home? I'm always a firm believer when you look at the greats in this league, and it really doesn't matter where they're playing at. Now, I don't care if it's quarterback, wide receiver, D tackle, safety, wide receiver. You got to be dominant in every venue that you go to, and I think that's what this fan base is starving for. And Tennessee is to watch Will Levis be the dominant figure that they hadn't seen in a very long time. But, of course, getting over the hurdle of being young, understanding NFL defenses, being on the road, if, you know, the momentum goes against you, can you get your team out of it? That's where I think the biggest issues we've kind of seen as of late with Ryan Tannehill. If you get behind, can he bring you back up out of that ditch? And if Will Levis can prove that on the road tonight against this team here in Pittsburgh on the road, I may change my tune to where it's, hey, it's still Tannehill's job. If he gives two showings of him being consistent as far as making plays down the field, not being silly with the ball, no turnovers, there's going to be a lot of optimism behind this young guy.
Yeah, I would agree. And at this point, you're the one that's been a bit more hesitant to crown him as the starting quarterback. With Ryan Tannehill still hurt, the opportunity for him still to come back. Where does that concern start for you then tonight for Will Levis? If this goes wrong for Will, how will it go wrong, and what will Pittsburgh do defensively to confuse him?
If it goes wrong with Will Levis, it goes wrong through turnovers. It goes wrong through strip fumbles. It goes wrong through looking confused out there, getting a little too cocky. And I'm a fan of being cocky, in case y'all never knew that, as far as the play on the field. But there has to be some reserve about it. You got to be reserved about it, too. If he feels like, oh, I can just outrun every defender on the field, you're going to get yourself in trouble. Where he has to convince me, and I'm not his coach, I'm just a fan of the game and a fan of watching him do good work, right? Where he has to do right is this. He has to make sure that he can make those same passes that he did last week. He has to be a guy that, if they're backed up, can we drive him through the air with my arm, is what he's got to ask himself. And where it comes into play and where he may end up botching it is this. Trying to put the ball in too many tight windows, them tipping the ball and getting interceptions, him not looking the same as he did last week. If he looks like a rookie this week, I got to go back to Tannehill. And nobody wants to hear that. That's not saying that he's bad, right? That's just saying that he's not where we want him to be currently. If he goes out well and has something similar, he throws 2 touchdowns, this team wins, he's the future quarterback, and there's no other way around it. And you pretty much got to say, thank you, Ryan Tannehill, for your efforts, but it's now the Will Levis show. Even in a loss, Will, and let me say this, Kayla, even in a loss, if he gives you 2 touchdowns, this team puts up a good amount of yards on the ground and still lose, I think you're going to have a whole lot of hope and a whole lot of optimism about what he's capable of doing, if it's not by turnovers in which this team loses.
And I think even when you look at a game like this, there's a chance, especially against a Steelers defense. Let's be honest, they are winning games because of the turnovers, right? They're able to turn teams over. That is why this team is winning these games and has a winning record. So I think even, Ramon, if you have a turnover early, right? The biggest thing I want to see from Will Levis is how do you bounce back from that? And I think that's kind of what we were alluding to earlier, the poise. Like, okay, you might have a mistake, but how do you bounce back from it? That's what I want to see, because I think you can still come back from something like that. You just can't keep making those mistakes, right?
Right, absolutely. And there will be mistakes being made. Heck, he almost threw an interception last week. It just so happened that the linebacker was falling back and it tipped off his hands. You can live in that world right there, but it can't just be silly things where he gets tricked by the defense time and time again to where he's throwing directly to either a safety or to a corner or to a linebacker. Those are the amateur things that you don't need to see from him. If he is above board and it just so happens a DB makes a good play on one of the passes that he throws, you can live with that because he can learn from the film study of what he's done wrong. Let's go back and watch the differences between, all right, man, that's just a bad play being made right there. Ryan Tannehill's throws he had in New Orleans, right? Those were throws that you wish you could have back time and time again, because you ask yourself, why did you throw it right there? How do you throw it in the double coverage? That's where it becomes problematic for guys playing the game. It's not like you're just trying to fit it into a tight window. No, those were bad throws, or the miscues that you were having in London, to where you had a wide open Chris Moore, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was Chris Moore, and you throwing the ball late. What we saw last week was this from Will Levis. You saw a guy that got the ball out fast. You saw a guy that was very decisive in how he plays a game. You saw a guy that, honestly, y'all, looked like he had a lot of confidence. Like, think about that one word for a sense. I know people hate using confidence. You can be confident and get punched in the mouth and still lose, right? But the way Will Levis operated last week, it was confident with a little bit of cockiness to it and a little bit of edge. And that's why this fan base is fired up. I'll be honest, I love it. But again, y'all know my motto. Do it again.
Right.
And then do it again after that. And that's the only reason I don't want to put the crown on his head just yet. I want to see him do it again, or at least something similar.
It is interesting. Some of his best games and worst games in college football in the SEC were both on the road. In 2021, one of his best games of his career was a game at Georgia against the eventual national champions, where he had an 83.1 PFF grade, among the highest in his college career at Kentucky. But then you've got last year's game against Tennessee at a 39.8. And he was on his back the whole game, was sacked 4 times, threw the picks, didn't even get to 100 yards. Guys, I want to go back to PFF's draft profile of Will Levis and the pros and cons that they gave and where this is so far true and so far untrue. The pros were flamethrower right arm, check. Ideal build that can take a hit. He was pressured on 43% of his dropbacks. last week against the Falcons. That's certainly true. Another pro, twitchy mover in the pocket. Yep. Does a good job at quickly evading pressure and at getting around rushers. Will stand in and deliver strikes under pressure. Again, agree. 9.2 yards per attempt under pressure in 2022. The other sneaky part of this, pun intended, he's 22 of 23 on QB sneaks in his career.
Like that.
In college, converting 22 of 23. So in short yardage, I think maybe the Titans have a couple games they would like to have maybe had Will Levis just sneak it in short yardage, and a couple of late game scenarios in New Orleans and in Indianapolis. But then you look at the cons. One speed thrower. We didn't really see that issue pop up at all against Atlanta. Spotty accuracy. Certainly did not see that. He was accurate on pretty much every single one of his throws. The ones that were incomplete were either to avoid a sack or because they were dropped. Will likely always struggle on touch passes with short arm delivery. Didn't really see that either in terms of his rollouts to Chikakonkwo, the short little dump downs to Tajay Spears. But the last con, guys, is where I'm concerned tonight against Pittsburgh. Yep. Bad habit of trying to do too much and forcing throws. That is the one thing that he cannot do tonight. And I imagine that Mike Vrabel has stressed to Will Levis and to the entire offense that we're okay hitting singles against this Steelers defense because the Steelers offense is going to strike out a heck of a lot tonight. And you don't have to always have to settle for the extra base hit or try to hit a home run. I'm worried that Sunday almost puts too much confidence in Will Levis's mind. I think you got to be comfortable with Will Levis having 175 to 200 yards tonight, running for 150 as a team, and letting that be your best recipe for success. Because, guys, if Will Levis is throwing for much more than that, I get concerned that you're relying on him too much and that he's also turning the football over in the process. Is that too paranoid for me?
So your point you made about him throwing singles, I felt like last week was that too. It was a bunch of singles. Okay. It just happened to travel through the air a long amount of time and had wide receivers that can run underneath those balls because he had the touch. That was one of those things that was it was eye-opening to me, was to watch that touch that he had. But, Will, you're right. He's got to get the ball out. It's got to be one of those games to where it's just simply take what's in front of you. You know the rushers and the challenges that he's going to have there. And I know we bring up Andre Dillard a lot, but we also got to watch what MPF is going to look like. And not just that, Cam Hayward's back tonight. What is the middle core of this team going to look like as far as being able to keep guys out of Will Levis's lap? You guys know what it feels like to have one of your guys back in the fold and how energetic they can be about that. So, yes, Will, I'm with you. He's got to hit singles tonight. I'm talking about it can be a line drive single. As long as it get over the shortstop or second base, I'll live there. That's just a little baseball knowledge right there I picked up and watching my kid. Yeah, that's right. Just a little something right there. But I'm with you on the cons that he have. Just as at times can do a little bit too much, right, and force his throws. Tonight ain't the night for that, especially on the short week. He has to be able to say, hey, if there's an out route, take that one. Don't do much more than that. Let this team carry them. Let the team carry him, because he did a real good job last week of carrying the team.
And that's what I was going to say, Ramon. Look, you don't have to be the Texas Rangers and go and win a World Series tonight, right? You can be Will Levis and do the things you're comfortable with doing. And I think, seeing him be a vertical threat that he is, I think that is obviously part of his game. He has a hell of an arm. Mm-hmm. I mean, we've talked about the flick of the wrist. We were joking about this song all week. But, I mean, it's there, right? We see all that. But don't feel like tonight, like in Will, how Will was saying this, that you have to do too much, because it is probably going to be a low-scoring game. You've got two defenses that are playing really well, and you don't have to put it all on your shoulders. And you're right, Ramon. Rely on some of the guys around you. I think the biggest thing tonight is making sure everybody's doing their job. It's not just about Will Levis, right? Yep. It should not just be on his shoulders tonight. The guys got to make plays. I think Derrick Henry, Tajay Spears, whatever it is, has to contribute on the ground. And I think that's a recipe for winning tonight.
Mm-hmm. 615-737-1045 is our number, where Ryan in Lebanon leads us off this morning. Hey, Ryan.
Guys, good morning.
What's going on?
So what scares me is Will Levis being overly aggressive, maybe taking off and running with it and trying to run over a linebacker when he's going to get stuck, and fumbling the ball. That's what scares me the most about this game. Everything else, man, let's go out and play, man. Let's go out and have a great game. Let's have some fun, man, and tighten up, man. Y'all take care.
Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you.
Appreciate the call. It is interesting, guys, too, that the last couple times the Titans have been on the road in prime time, it's actually gone pretty well. Yeah, I mean, the Packers win, obviously, but how quickly we forget how close Malik Willis was to beating Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City on Sunday Night Football. I mean, genuinely. Yeah.
That's true, man. It's gonna be it's a good test, but this is what I've been my sentiment all week, y'all. It's going to be a big test for both sides. Y'all know where I played 11 years at, and it's going to be fascinating because I watch and follow and, do my podcast on that team too. They got a big challenge. Jeffrey Simmons can wreck the middle portion of this offensive line, and that's a challenge, and that's almost every week. I think kudos also to J.J. Watt. He brought that up too, but Jeff can wreck the middle of this core, and you need to see what that's going to look like. But on the other side, this team is playing at home. They always find a way to do erratic things that helps them win. There's a lot at stake for both sides. Now, I love what this has kind of turned into, with both teams have questions that need to be answered, and they got it on a short week.
Mike in Cleveland is next on the phone lines, where you can join us at 615-737-1045. What's up, Mike? Thank you, sir.
There it is.
What's up, y'all?
What's up, Mike?
Good morning. Nothing much. Hey, man. Hey, first off, I just gotta say, Mon Capone, you doing your thug thizzle, man. And I've been listening. I remember when you was introduced for the first time, and now look at you, man. Big J, and you're out here doing your journalism and everything, and that's what's up. And I'm just happy and I'm proud of you, bro.
Y'all hated me that first week. I'll never forget. Y'all hated me, man.
You're out here calling it Music City Musical, so it makes sense.
I didn't hate you. I had your back, man.
Oh,
I had
yeah,
your back.
yeah, that's fair.
I didn't hate you.
That's fair.
Man. Some people was hating, but I had your back, bro. I was going to bat for you first week. I was like, give them a try. But anyway, so there you go. There go your flowers. And so now it's time for us to go in and wreck them Steelers, man. It's time to show them Steelers they ain't nothing but a rusty ride, man. It's over for you, dog. Don't nobody care about no Rustburg, okay? Shoot, Cleveland that came up past Pittsburgh, man. That make y'all look even worse, man. No, but the thing I'm worried about with them Titans, honestly, I'm really not worried about Levis. I'm real excited. For the first time this year, I'm more excited than worried, like for real. I can't wait to see him. The thing that's worrying me about us, about Two-Tone Blue, is just our offensive line. If they're going to hold up as good as it looked like they did in his last game, and if they're going to give Levis time to go through his reads and his progressions and let them plays get set up. That's the only thing I'm worried about. Because if Levis get out there and do anything close to what he did last week, then that's going to set up the run game real nice. So that's what I'm waiting to see is this offensive line, if they're going to hold up. But you have a good time. Don't visit too many traps out there while you're back home in Pittsburgh, Moan, and y'all take it easy. Dose.
Mike in Cleveland, always bringing it.
Yeah, he is. I love how he was like, nobody liked you the first week. I did, though.
Mike did kind of hold it down. I got to give it to him. He did. But, boy, it was some other callers. Why do we have a Steeler on this station? I was like, golly.
Mike was viewing the matinee of the Music City Musical that first weekend after you coined that term.
He wrote the script.
Yeah, he did.
There we go.
Screenwriter. Good playwright, Mike in Cleveland. Well, talking about that Titans offensive line, we'll take a look next at what it is like to go up against one of Ramon's old teammates who is officially back tonight for the Steelers. How do you stop Cam Hayward? Or maybe better, how do you contain Cam Hayward? That's next in Hour 1 on RKW.
Hey, it's Kayla Anderson for the Wang Vision Institute. Did you know not only are they all about your eye health, they are now about your skin. They're offering intense pulse light treatments. You're wondering, what the heck is this? It's a simple treatment, photofacial treatment, rejuvenating the skin and maybe you've had sun damage, you've got dark spots. As you get older, we start to see that. This is a really quick treatment, 20 to 30 minutes, evens out your skin tone, texture, as well as hyperpigmentation. Anyone can do it. Like I said, you're in and out in 20 to 30 minutes, and all you need is a little sunblock on your face. For more information on IPL treatments, along with all the other services they offer, you can visit wangvisioninstitute.com today. Maybe you're thinking about your eye health as well. They obviously offer everything from LASIK surgery to just short-term things in terms of helping your eyesight. I went in and got the full run-of-the-mill here about a month ago, and they really know what they're doing. They're great people, great doctors. Like I said, you can also go online, have a free seminar that's every Tuesday, 6:45. If you just want a consultation, RSVP and schedule that today. It's wangvisioninstitute.com. Your eyes and skin will thank you for the long-lasting results.
RKW is brewed by 8th and Roast on 104.5 The Zone. Later this morning, the Thursday 3 coming up in a half hour or so. Coach Mack of Titans Radio at 8:20, and Bryant McFadden of CBS Sports joins us in hour number 4, previewing Titans and Steelers with you all morning long. 615-737-1045 is our number, with Ramon Foster in Pittsburgh, Kayla Anderson, myself, here in beautiful Music City, USA. We go back to the phones where Caples is in Nashville up next. What's up, Caples?
Yeah, I know this game is very, very important to me, don't you?
Yes, sir, we do.
Very, very, very important. It's still a safe week. I'm not speaking to my wife and my child. I'm ignoring everybody. I need the Titans to win tonight. I'm 0-2 since we've been married. They beat us twice since we've been together. I need to change the script tonight. I'm not even talking to that big tall dude that's in Pittsburgh right now because he's still a Steeler too today. So I'm not speaking to him. Hi, Kayla. You look gorgeous as ever. Hi, Will. Love your sweater.
Thank you.
Tighten up, man. Love y'all.
Appreciate
That was
the
so
call.
great.
Mr. Caples in Nashville, ladies and gentlemen.
So
Tall dude in Pittsburgh, it's nothing.
the wife is Steelers fan.
I guess so.
Oh,
Yeah.
big
I
time.
actually didn't know that.
We got her and Keisha know each other. My
really?
wife.
Nice.
Yeah, they played ball together. And I actually had known her before Caples, well, through Keisha. She came up to a game when we were playing once before. And I didn't realize in hindsight after I met Caples that was his wife until my wife told me, was like, hey, yeah, they came up to a game. So it's crazy how
Nice.
it's all intertwined like
That's
that.
funny.
Love that.
Yeah.
Love the
that from
pettiness
Caples.
this morning.
You also can't call Ramon like just the big guy because
Right.
Ramon not quite as big as previously, but due to lots of hard work and slim thoughts. So it's just the tall guy.
And I'm walking it down even more now. So this sweatsuit I got on is huge on me. Like if I put it on, it's been a while since I put on this this jogger, and this jacket is puffy, and that's a humble brag right there.
My not so humble brag is that I'm going in the opposite direction. And Caples mentioned the sweatshirt that I have on today. This is the new Oilers sweatshirt. This is the first ever XL clothing I've ever
Wow.
owned that fits me, and I don't know how to feel about that.
I was
but
going
that's
to say,
okay.
are you
I
proud?
know.
Are you not proud? I
Well,
mean, I never know with men.
I always prefer clothes to be a size bigger versus a size too small, as a rule, always. But I don't know. Mixed feelings. It's fine.
It is a nice sweatshirt, though.
Yeah, it's good.
So have you accumulated another C to thick? Is that what you're telling me, Will?
How many C's?
Look, anyone who knows me knows I've been trying to look like a normal human ever since I got done running, and I finally achieved, I think, looking like a normal human being.
Y'all, you showed me that picture of you, Will. When
it's
you were
so
younger.
bad.
Lord.
Well, I got sent a Facebook memory while we were getting ready for our high school game last Friday, Kayla. I'll show it to you in the break, and it's like my old classmate, now Buffalo Bills tight end Dawson Knox, would always grab my arm with two hands and go, I could break this in half, right? I'd be like, please don't.
Wow.
Like, Dawson, we're just an econ class,
Right?
man. Like, it doesn't have to. What are we doing? And
we don't have to get violent here.
well, I had a teacher once in English class senior year who literally looks at me and just roasted me. She just goes, how do all your vital organs fit in your body? And I was like, what? I was like, this cute girl over here, I was going to ask the homecomings, can hear you. You know that, right? Like, what are we,
Keep it
what
down.
are we doing? Come on. You don't have to end my whole career. I'm only 17.
Hey,
Word for word.
We got to go visit her, Will.
I don't think she teaches there anymore. I don't know if that's good or bad, but
Well, never mind. I'm not making that joke.
anyway, Ramon, Cam Hayward's back tonight for the Steelers. What was it like going up against that guy in practice for so many years?
A headache. I went and saw the guys last night, and I was just like, Jeffrey reminds me a lot of Cam. I was like, and I was describing Cam, and it was like, well, I guess that is, how it is going against Jeff. And Cam is a never die type of guy. I'll say this, and I say this respectfully. If you're on where you are in your career, being older, and you're trying to solidify yourself, I think Cam is doing everything he possibly can to make sure he can get a gold jacket. And I think most players will be lying to themselves if they didn't think that way. And that's where he is right now. So that means every player is 110%. If he can make a play, he's going to make a play. There will be some aggravation and aggression on every single one of his plays. He has one of the strongest one-arm stabs I've seen. He's good at it, man. A ton of respect for that dude, not just because he was my teammate.
With a guy like that, is there added motivation when you go up against a younger version of you on the other side? Because I imagine Cam Hayward is often told, oh, yeah, Jeffrey Simmons is the new you, but Cam Hayward wants to hit back and say, no, I'm still the me. This guy isn't going to upstage me on my home turf.
Last year, that conversation was had. I think it was the NFL PFF made that top 5 list, and Cam was like 3, and Jeff was up higher than him. And that conversation's already been had. It's good to have that friendly conversation, that friendly competition. I love to see Big Jeff and Cam, exchange formalities before, after the game on the basis of, I respect your style. I love your style. Jeff, I think, said he caters his game a little bit after Fletcher Cox. I look at Jeff game, I say it's more Cam Hayward and with a little bit of Fletcher Cox. And I ain't going to tell Jeff how to, pattern his game.
Sure.
But it's very similar. That never die, just butthole of a player each and every play. That's Cam Hayward. And tell me I'm lying. And I say that with a lot of respect because you need those dudes on your team.
That's what I was just going to say. I think everybody was like holding their breath. Can he just be out like one more game and then return after Thursday Night Football? Because you're right, Ramon. When you talk about Cam Hayward and just that name around the league, so well respected. And when he gets out there, regardless of his age, and I think he's 34, right?
Yeah.
He is going to bring it, right? And he's going to bring the energy to that line because that's just the respect he has and the leadership he has. And you already are talking about a good Steelers defense in terms of, being able to get those turnovers. But now you've got a guy that's back that I think can inject some even more life into that front. And that's what I get nervous about. Just one guy can kind of change kind of the mentality sometimes.
Yeah, and despite how good they were against Travis Etienne, holding him to 3.3 yards per carry, the Steelers, without Cam Hayward since week 1, are giving up an average of 4.6 yards per carry, bottom 10 in the NFL without him this season.
Wow.
Coming up next, we'll get to Josh and Chase on the phone lines. You can join them and us there at 615-737-1045. We'll get into the big news of the morning so far. We've got more info on DeAndre Hopkins' status for Thursday Night Football tonight in Pittsburgh. That's next at the beginning of Hour 2 on RKW.
What's going on? Good morning. It's 7:02 from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Robert Walsh. Raiders continue to make changes, this time at quarterback. Interim head coach Antonio Pierce announces that Aiden O'Connell, the rookie fourth-round pick, will start against the Giants. And in Atlanta, another quarterback swap as head coach Arthur Smith confirms that Taylor Heineke will start against the Minnesota Vikings. And who will be starting against him? That's fifth-round pick Jaron Hall. So it's starting in place of Kirk Cousins. As for the Titans, final injury report came out yesterday. Ryan Tannehill, Chris Hubbard, and Roger McCreary are all out versus the Steelers. Tom Pelissero confirmed this morning DeAndre Hopkins is expected to play despite the questionable tag. For the Steelers, they'll be without all-pro safety Minkah Fitzpatrick as he recovers from a hamstring injury he suffered last week against the Jaguars. Make sure you're not hamstrung for the game tonight. Tune in to Lee Company Countdown to Kickoff, hosted by 3HL from 4 to 5. After that, Titans Radio takes you all the way up to kickoff at 7:15. And don't forget, you can stream the game for free from the 104.5 The Zone app. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit usstn.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
A very happy Titans game day to you, wherever you may be listening around Music City and watching around the world. This is RKW brewed by 8th and Roast. Coming up in 15 minutes, if you like U.S. American dollars, the green kind that goes in your wallet, we'll make you some. Thursday 3 coming up in just a few minutes. Just take whatever Ramon Foster picks to the opposite, and you will have been 6-0 over the last 2 weeks. Nothing.
Hey,
Okay,
man.
there he is. Ramon Foster in Pittsburgh, Kayla Anderson, Robert Walsh, myself, Will Bowling here in beautiful Nashville, Tennessee. Ramon, you got to back against the wall. You still got time. Bowl season is right around the corner. There's plenty of football left. A lot of ball left.
Hey, I'm trying to make it happen. I went with what I knew this week. I'm going 3-0, just in case you were wondering.
I was wondering.
Book it.
That's good.
Book it.
615-737-1045. The number, the good news this morning, courtesy of Tom Pelissero, NFL Media. DeAndre Hopkins, who did not practice yesterday because of a toe injury and is officially questionable, is expected to play tonight against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Full injury report for the Titans. 4 players have been ruled out. That includes safety Mike Brown as he works his way back from injury. Roger McCreary, who was limited all 3 days of practice this week, including the one that was estimated on Monday with a hamstring issue. He is out. Ryan Tannehill is out. And Chris Hubbard in concussion protocol is out. Means we can expect Andre Dillard and Nicholas Petit-Frere to be the starting tackles tonight.
Man, you want to know what's interesting about like the questionable list and injury list and stuff that comes out is even as a player, I'd be like, man, dang, you questionable today? Like, why?
Nice.
Why are you on the list as questionable or, did not participate in all those types of things? Like, I can say it in hindsight now, but like I saw D-Hop just walking yesterday. I was like, man, it looked good to me. I know he's going to play. So for y'all to say the news was coming out, I was actually expecting you to say he's not going to play, Will, because you was like, guess. But I was looking at him walk around, and I was like, well, he looked fine to me. I don't know why he's questionable, but hey, you just never know, especially if it was a toe situation.
That's fair. I do remember in college. Go ahead, Kayla.
No, go for it.
In college, it was funny when you had classes with guys and you would hear that they were questionable, but you would watch them like need 3 people to help them get up the stairs to go to class. You're like, there's no way this guy is playing. Like I had poetry class Monday, Wednesday, Friday in college.
Yeah.
It was like Poetry 101 or something. It was just an easy. I was like, what? Let me pick an English elective where I don't have to read a ton. How long does it take to read a poem? Worked out well. And I remember I was sitting in my dorm on a Friday night playing FIFA. That checks out. And one of my buddies walked in and was like, hey, our starting middle linebacker's on the couch right now. And just outside your room in the living room. And I was like, well, I guess he's not playing tonight. So, like, there were a lot of ththings like that in college that were like, you would just know students. Like, there's no way this guy's playing, and they would still be on the injury report.
Oh, yeah. And the thing with, I don't know, DeAndre, when we saw him the one practice we were able to see this week, he was out there, but he wasn't, like, going through drills at all. He was just kind of there, talking with Traylon, not doing any of the drills. So I'm sure there's a little bit of an injury there, but what I had loved about DeAndre Hopkins this year is he came in with all the notion that he didn't practice, and there were injuries that you could worry about. For the most part, he's practiced when he can practice, but even when he's not able to practice, he goes out and he plays in a game, and he's proven to be a difference maker in a lot of these games. As for the line that you were mentioning, Will, with the kind of shake up there with Chris Hubbard still out with a concussion, I'm interested to see how this works in a full game, right? Because we saw NPF switch over to the right side and Dillard go back over to the left side. And that was kind of like midway through the game.
Right.
So we weren't able to really see from start to finish how that line looked. Tonight, the pressure's on even more. With that environment, with that defensive front. I know the Falcons have a good front too, but I think that's going to be a test. Is Dillard maybe sitting on the bench and being benched? Does that help, him kind of have a new mindset? We'll see. But I think they've got to have a good game, guys. It doesn't have to be perfect. They got to hold up.
Let's go to Chase in Nashville up next. 615-737-1045. What's up, Chase?
What's up, Chase?
How we doing, guys?
Good.
Morning.
So we had a great game Sunday with Levis. How do we go on the road on prime time in Pittsburgh and get the win with the rookie quarterback?
Thank you, Chase. Appreciate the call. We just got a question about that as well, to combine two questions in the one from Josh in the F&M Bank chat on YouTube, who asked, when he said that he played free within the feel of the game, how big is that for a rookie? And then he also asked, playing in prime time in college at hostile environments like Neyland, how does that translate into the NFL?
It does a good bit. I know my success in the NFL was due to my training at UT. I know that I had an offensive line head coach is what Coach Former was, right? And it translated over because how he was a stickler on how he trained us up. I think those road matches do matter in the SEC. I look at them and say, does it mean that it's law that, hey, if you played in front of big toxic crowds, you're going to be all right? No, but certain stadiums do have that college feel in the NFL, and that's kind of the way I'm looking at what Will Levis has to go through tonight. Be poised. Again, Will or Kayla, one of y'all said it earlier, you ain't got to go for the home run. We're just looking for singles every single time. And if you do that, you're going to be all right. What young guys do is get too eager for themselves at times, right? Where, I did it last week, I got to do it again. Coach Mack said time and time again with us, right? It is a very smart league. People will dissect you, will break you down, find your strengths, and make sure you can never use them again. That's what Will Levis has to understand this week, tonight, going into Pittsburgh is, screw last week. You got to have a quick memory. Let it go and move forward. It ain't, as I said last hour, if you do something good, then you're going to have to show me again. And then I need to see it again and again and again and again. That's how he gets over that, is believing that, look, some days Derrick Henry might have to just run for 160 yards, and that's going to get us a dub.
615-737-1045 if you want to jump in on the discussion this morning. It feels like I heard Mike Keith and Rhett Bryant and Keith Bullock talking about this last night on Titans Tonight. This feels like a big night for Traylon Burks.
Mm-hmm.
Last time the Titans were on Thursday Night Football, he had a really big game against Green Bay. That's not why it's a big night, but it might speak to his ability to perform in a primetime hostile atmosphere once again. But DeAndre Hopkins is back, and I think Traylon Burks probably watches that film from this past Sunday and says, if I can come down with a couple of those deep balls, I'm being talked about in the same vein DeAndre Hopkins is right now. as one of Will Levis's favorite targets.
And I think he's starting to feel like, okay, if I can get healthy and start to string together games, I can be that receiver they need me to be. It's just been not having the consistency of being on the field to build upon anything. I really, truly think that's a big part of it. I think he has all the tools, guys. But it's hard to get in any type of groove if you aren't able to be out on that field. And so for him tonight, I think you're right, Will. I think this is a big game for him. He doesn't have to go out and be a world beater by any means, but he needs to catch the balls that are thrown to him. Absolutely. And some of those maybe make some catches that, help Will Levis out a little in those situations. He can do it. I just think he's got to have that confidence back in himself. And I think it's a good thing that he had that first game back from injury at home, had some mistakes. Obviously, D-Hop was able to do his thing. But tonight, it's got to be a whole team effort. He's got to be one of the guys that helps for sure.
Yeah, Traylon's expectation got to go up.
I agree.
It does.
Mm-hmm.
And the pressure's off of him. I mean, this is the best scenario for Traylon Burks to be successful within this offense. There are no more excuses for him at this point. It's all on you now to make a play. Make it happen. 615-737-1045 our number. Coming up, our picks for the football weekend. Typically, we do this Thursdays at 9:20, but we've got Bryant McFadden of CBS Sports who is going to join us then. So it's an early edition of the Thursday 3 coming up next. Our picks against the totals, against the spread for the football weekend on the other side.
One of the things I love about Genesis Diamonds is they're always bringing in new and fresh jewelry and diamonds. You're never going to see the same old choices at Genesis. With their diamonds, they are always bringing in fresh cut stones, straight from the world's best diamond cutters, every size you can imagine, including the larger, rare diamonds like 3 and 5 and even 10 carats. Nobody has a diamond selection that can come anywhere close. And with designer jewelry, Genesis has partnered with all the top designers from New York and Los Angeles, and they're on the cutting edge when it comes to what's in style, what's hot, what's new, and different. The stuff you see in Genesis, you will not find at other stores, guaranteed. So it's a constantly moving, constantly changing inventory, always new selection. It's another reason why Genesis dominates the jewelry scene here and why people drive for 2+ hours to be able to shop at this amazing store. They've got it all. Huge selection, uncompromising quality, unbeatable value, ironclad warranties, and white glove customer service. Genesis Diamonds and luxury pre-owned Rolexes too. New Rolexes have just come in. Keisha telling you right now. Okay, but Genesis, official jeweler of the Tennessee Titans, located in Green Hills and Cool Springs.
RKW is brewed by 8th and Roast right here on 104.5 The Zone. 615-737-1045 is our number. Time to make you a little bit of money coming up here in just a moment with our Thursday 3. See if anybody has the total, Titans or the Steelers, in their picks. I considered another primetime under tonight, but I didn't want to do that to the people.
I feel that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I stayed away.
I'm going with what I know this week,
Me
okay? I'm going with what I know, and I'm just going to leave it right there. If I'm 3-0, I'm going first with pride next week, just so you know.
Are we taking bets on Miles' baseball team? Is that what?
Wow.
Dude, can we?
Yeah, Ramon will go 3-0
Can
easy.
we?
You said you're betting with what you know, man. I thought that's what you'd fill in with.
I mean, Coach Lowry put a nice squad together is what I'm telling you. I'm betting with them.
Yeah.
So it sounds like if Ramon is betting with what he knows, then I would expect the Vols, the Steelers/Titans, and then Dave Clawson's Wake Forest Demon Deacons to be the 3 picks that Ramon is making.
If I was picking against him, I would definitely have won more, just so you know, too.
Well, the one time you did pick
this
against
week.
him, the one time you did pick against him this year, you missed.
I was out of
You
hate.
picked him to cover against Vandy, and he covered in the first half.
Hey, Will, this is supposed to be about us, man. Why you driving that bus over my back right now, man?
We'll get to that coming up in a minute. We'll get to Rue in Nashville right now, though. 615-737-1045. What's going on?
Good morning, good people.
Morning.
Morning.
So, look, I think that it won't be too big of a game for Levis because Tim Kelly. I think that he will call a great game for him to where he maximizes his strengths and protects his weaknesses. Quick screens, tight ends. I think Wiley will have a great game, a big game. Chig got to come through and catch those balls, man. But I think it's going to be a quick dump. If he has a receiver over the top, I think he'll let it rip, of course. But I think Tim Kelly calls a great game for him to protect what he has in his quarterback.
Thank you,
I
Rue.
like it.
Appreciate the call.
I like the confidence in Tim Kelly that's coming along with the people. I think we saw it at bits and, pieces of it throughout the season, but I think after that game specifically with a different quarterback in place, fans are a little bit more confident.
And I want to circle back to one thing he said at 8 o'clock, too, about Josh Wiley, because Josh Wiley on the injury report does not have an injury designation. I'm curious how much Josh Wiley we see in order to maybe motivate Chikakonko a little bit, who's struggling to catch the football. I think that's a conversation we could circle back to in about a half hour,
like
because I think if Josh Wiley had been up last week after Chig's big drop, Chig is becoming a repeat offender in that sense. I almost wonder if Josh Wiley starts taking over more of those snaps, but we'll get to that coming up at 8 o'clock.
Yeah, you got me hype about this conversation, Will, because there's so many different layers to discuss that. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that now in the 8.
All right, well, let's get to the Thursday 3 right now. I did have I really just decided to do this on the air for Robert. I wrote down for you last week. You had Eagles -6.5, Tulane over 54.5, and then I just wrote under 43.5, but I did not write the game.
It was the Auburn-Mississippi State game, which went 40, so I went 3-0.
Wow.
Wow.
Get the brain on Bert.
Look at
You
that.
went what, Bert?
Big old 3-0.
I hate you.
You're going to do it this week, man. You're going to do it this week.
He went the GPA that every college wants out of their student athletes,
Perfect.
a 3-0.
Hey, and that's
Does
a
it
solid
for me.
ACT
Yes, it is.
score behind that. Yeah.
Student athlete or not, 3.0 in college is good with me.
So Robert is 17-10. I mean, we gotta give, like, the fact that Robert and Kayla are 17-10 and 16-11. That's impressive. Very impressive. I'm actively trying to jinx both of them.
I'm not saying one thing.
You ain't nothing.
I ain't
man.
saying one thing.
I am in third. I went 2-1 last week. I had the Ohio State. I'm just going to keep with. I should just do Big Ten unders,
Right?
for all 3 of my picks every
Goodness.
single week. I had Ohio State, Wisconsin under, Dolphins -9.5. Again, if I'd known Mahomes had the flu, I would not have picked the Chiefs. I'm just making excuses at this point. All right, Robert, you went 3-0. We'll go in descending order this week. So we'll go Robert first, Kayla second, I'll go third, and Ramon fourth.
First, I'm going to start in Kayla's neck of the woods in the Pac-12.
Woo!
Really like Washington and Stanford over 59.5. Cam Ward's been electric.
Washington State.
What did I say?
Washington.
Either way, you know what I meant. At WSU.
There's a difference.
2,500 yards, 16 scores in the year, but both defenses have not been able to stop anybody's last 4 games. Stanford has not allowed anybody to score over or under 42. WSU hasn't been able to score anybody under 38. I think they both score a buttload of points, over 59.5. I know that's a big number, but they're both up for it.
Look at that.
Over 59.5. Okay.
Up on the Palouse today, or this weekend. I like it. Okay. I'm going to go with a game tonight, y'all. Why not get us having some fun in the Sun Belt tonight, right?
Ooh, okay.
Thursday night
Fun Belt.
football, it's not just about the Titans and the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's about the Troy Trojans, baby, in South Alabama. South Alabama visiting Troy. Had some fun covering them back in my baby broadcasting days. Troy has won 11 out of its last 12 games against their conference opponents. Troy has also covered the spread in each of its last 5 games against South Alabama, which, by the way, we visited their campus last year for the Senior Bowl. Beautiful campus and field there. But this one's in Troy. I'm taking Troy -4. 2 high-powered offenses, you guys, so a lot of fun tonight in that game, but Troy, the better defense. Give me the Trojans, baby.
So this one is now 4.5.
Still give me them.
All right. Troy
Wrap
-4.5
it up.
against
Kayla don't care.
USA. That's right.
Kayla taking it. I love that pick.
My first pick, I am going with what I know, like Ramon says. There's going to be a trend here, guys.
Okay.
LSU, Alabama, over 60.5.
Woo!
Free money anytime you're betting the LSU over. The total has gone over in 10 straight LSU games. Make it 11 on Saturday in Tuscaloosa. 7 out of the 10 last games for Alabama. The total has gone over. Give me LSU, Bama, over 60.5. Ramon Foster.
Nice. I'm going with what I know, and it's all NFL this week, okay? I'm tired of playing with these kids in college, man. They're too unstable.
Forget them kids.
Yeah, forget them kids, man. But I'm going Cleveland, Arizona, man.
Yep.
Arizona has to go to Cleveland this week, and that defense with what Arizona's provided this year is small, okay? I'm not sure who the quarterback is this week. I know it ain't Dobbs. It's a third guy. And that Cleveland defense. Clayton Tune, respectfully. My bad, my brother. But I'm taking the points. Give me -8 Cleveland.
Yep, I like it.
So that one's -7.5 now, so you get an extra half point.
Hey, I'll take it.
In your favor.
Yeah.
Not charity, but it is what you're getting.
Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good, Ramon.
That's right.
I'm going to stay in the ACC, and I'm going to stay with Ramon's favorite coach, Dave Clawson. They have not been great this year. Duke, on the other hand, has been really good, despite getting blanked last week by Louisville. I think this game goes under. Duke secondary has been lights out this year. Wake Forest, they've had quarterback injuries. Griffiths, I keep wanting to call him Griffith, but his name is Griffiths. Griffiths is going to have a tough time with this Duke defense. I think the total goes under 45 in Duke Wake Forest.
And you get an extra half point as well, under 45.5.
Let's go. There we go.
Look at the brain on bird again. Goodness sakes.
Look at that.
I'm going to go
Free
2-0
money, baby.
already.
I am going to go down to where the cowbells ring in Stark Vegas. Mississippi State, it just not been good this year. Hey, Mike Wright, shout out though. I love that guy. I will never hate on Mike Wright, but unfortunately, Kentucky just got beat up there in Lexington.
By
right?
who?
By the Vols, right?
Because say nothing unfortunate about it.
And that's never leaving a good taste. There it is.
Sorry, Kayla.
That's all right. I'll let y'all feed another week off of it. But look, I mean, Kentucky hates that when y'all go up there and win, right? And what I did like about Kentucky, guys, is Devin Leary. I did like what I saw out of Devin Leary in that game. And I think that Ray Davis is going to have a bounce-back game. He has been fantastic this year on the ground. Look, the Mississippi State Bulldogs defense giving up 29 points per game. I think Kentucky goes down there and takes care of business. Give me Kentucky -3. At least that's what I had it at.
3.5.
Yeah, give me 3.5.
Okay. Ray Davis, by the way, video surfacing last night. I don't know if y'all saw this on social media of the Kentucky players before the game on Saturday standing around the Tennessee tunnel before the Vols ran out onto Kroger Field to get their field points and their victory over the Kentucky Wildcats. That I've never seen that before. like a home team literally crowding around like there's going to be a rumble in the parking lot or something. That was the whitest possible way that anyone's ever said that.
There's going to be a fracas
There's
over
going
there.
to be a rumble, he says, the kid from Brentwood. And they're just like standing around, like. And then I saw someone on social media was like, "Well, that's where they go to pray." It's like, well, they were praying and talking trash simultaneously. What was going on?
They look like they were on a crusade.
Our Father in heaven. These guys have no chance of coming to our house and taking over our trap.
Hey, well, you know
Amen.
what I said? They must have asked us if we want a paper or plastic, and we chose plastic because we suffocated them.
That was a little aggressive, but sure.
Or you could just
You
wear
know
paper
what?
bags on your heads. Right?
Hey, soon,
That would have
Kayla.
been better.
Right?
Kayla gets the brownie points on that. That was a lot less aggressive.
God,
A lot less aggressive.
You with me or not, Will?
I mean, you're 7-20 against the spread. This just you're not 7-21
Bringing
because
up
of
my
this. but-
record, dog.
It's okay.
Why
I'm
you keep
11-16. I'm not that much better.
If you're watching us on TV right now, it looks like Ramon is whispering sweet nothings
does.
in Will's
It
ear.
really does.
He's old Zordon there,
Oh
big
my
old
gosh,
head in the
that
middle,
is so
kissing
funny.
on Will's ear. You got me weak.
I just looked at it.
That's amazing. All right. I told you I was also going to go with what I know this week. So LSU overs are mortal locks, guys. Y'all mind if I be a sicko
Uh-oh.
real quick?
I'm going where you're going.
Where's
I already
he
know.
going?
To the great state of Illinois, Wrigley Field, the home of Iowa Northwestern.
Oh, I was about to
Give
say
me
this.
the under,
Yeah.
baby. Under 31.5. Iowa Northwestern. You just got to lean into it. You just got to enjoy the sicko-ness, the disgusting Big Ten football that's going to be played in the Windy City on Saturday between Iowa and Northwestern. Give me all the defense, all the punts. I cannot wait. Under 31.5, Iowa Northwestern.
Oof, that's an icky ball game.
Oh, just bask in it. Dread
Bask in
it.
the
Dread
icky.
it. Run
Yeah,
from it.
bask in the icky.
Destiny still arrives, baby. Quentin
No, I
Thanos
was
on a
about to make
Thursday
it-
morning.
Yeah, I know. It's dark, Will. Goodness.
Really is. Second pick, Ramon Foster.
Second pick, man. Sticking with the NFL. Giants in Las Vegas. Both teams, cheeks, okay? Vegas just cleaned house on everybody. Pierce is a new head coach, former Giant also going back home, but this is not a Cinderella matchup. And by the way, he has some choice words that was just crazy all over the board on how he knows players and players. Never mind. But I'm taking a plus 1.5 for the Giants on this one. I can't see Vegas as bad as they are winning in general.
So
Give me a
I
1.5.
and in the next round, when I pick my third pick, I have a pick on this one that is different.
I do too.
Okay.
But
On
we'll
my
get to
third.
it in just a couple of minutes. So
that
Giants plus
works.
1.5 for Ramon Foster.
With Ramon staying in the NFL and both of you going to that game, it means no one is going to pick the Service Academy under.
I know.
I was dumb last time. Dumb brain. Stupid. Don't be stupid, guys. It's hit 44
Keep it simple,
times.
stupid.
Keep it simple, stupid.
Hurts my feelings every time.
Air Force, Army, 34.5. The under. I'll take it.
Let's
You just took a
go.
31.5, Will. Don't you groan at me.
No, but that's Iowa.
This is a service. This is Army.
Iowa's
Last time they played a game,
respect
it was
the troops,
You
Robert.
heard it here. Will doesn't respect the troops.
No,
You heard it here
no,
first.
it's not respecting the troops. I think the troops are going to score some points.
my best friend's in the Coast Guard. Leave me alone.
Come on. He said he was cool with it.
Will doesn't take his hat off during the national anthem.
No, shut up. I promise I love America more than you. You could never out-America me.
So I am going to Vegas too in my final bet of the day. And I'm going to go opposite of Ramon in this one. Look, whenever a team I feel like gets rid of a head coach,
Preach.
a lot not only a head coach, but the GM, for some reason teams just find a way to freaking rally for that interim head coach,
Yep.
which is Antonio Pierce. They didn't hire the what was it? Who was before them that they overlooked?
Rich Bisaccia.
Rich Bisaccia, exactly. And they left him in the cold, but they rallied for him. Give me Vegas, baby.
Okay.
I am doing the exact same thing. The interim coach bump is a very real thing in every sport. Aiden O'Connell getting the start, home game for the Raiders. It's an all hands on deck. Look, guys, if
Crash
Jeff
show.
Saturday can come in as an interim coach and motivate his team well enough to win, after arguing with Stephen A. Smith like 3 days prior that I trust a guy who's been on staff all season to actually do it for the Raiders. Giants are hopeless. Max Crosby will wreak havoc against a very bad Giants offensive line coming off of an improbable loss to the New York Jets at home and also kind of on the road last Sunday. Give me Raiders -1.5 all day against the New York Giants.
Good. I like that too. My last pick goes to Baltimore. The Seattle-Baltimore matchup may be one of the best ones of the weekend. Baltimore's favored by 6. I'm actually taking Baltimore by 6 because they're a very solid team. Seattle's got to travel cross-country. I like Geno, but I always like Baltimore's defense. Going into that place with the understanding that they're going to be toxic is huge for me. Give me the 6 for Baltimore.
5.5.
7:37. Ramon loves Baltimore's defense.
Let's go.
Is that why everybody was quiet?
Oh yeah.
Somewhere in there too, Robert, you have him saying, "I'm rolling with Kentucky," that I'm glad was not brought out last week.
That too, Will.
And I don't feel as bad saying it now because, again, you'd have to remember that in 51 weeks to play it next year. So,
Ramon, I like that bet, though. I was going to put that on there, but I can't bet against my team. So
I wanted to preface it by saying, Kayla, this is nothing against you.
Not at
It's
all.
just I'm trying to. This is about me.
It's about you.
I'm trying to win this
You
week.
got to get in that win column, bro.
I gotta get a dub, Kayla.
A little history on this game. If you remember 4 years ago, 2019, Lamar's MVP season, this is the famous John Harbaugh, do you want to go for it? And Lamar went for it on 4th and 2. They got a touchdown, ended up winning that game. They did not win by 6, but hopefully a different subject this week.
I think I did bet on the Ravens in that game.
Yeah.
Robert, I have more bad news for you on 2 different fronts.
Oh, no. What's going on?
2 of your picks are different than what you had originally said. So Washington State, Stanford, that total is now 60.5.
Okay.
It's only 1 point.
Yep.
The bad news is that you're joining me in betting a 31.5 point total because the Army Air Force total is now 31.5.
You know what? I'm not worried about it. They can't kick. The Army's not known for kicking. The Army's not known for putting boots on the
They fight on
ground.
ground, baby, not through the air.
That's right.
You stand on that ground, Bert.
All right, so Robert, if you want to win money, write these down. Washington State, Stanford over 60.5. Duke, Wake Forest under 45.5. I love that pick. Air Force, Army under 31.5. Good Lord. Kayla going Troy -4.5 against South Alabama. Kayla also disrespecting the troops because South Alabama's acronym is USA, so that's tough. Kentucky -3.5 against State. Raiders -1.5.
Yeah.
Against the Giants. I am going with LSU, Alabama over 60.5. Iowa, Northwestern under 31.5. Raiders -1.5. Giants. And then Ramon.
Give it to me.
Feel like I'm in a montage of a boxing movie. Cleveland -7.5. Giants +1.5. Ravens -5.5. Good way to go to break. 615-737-1045. Take more of your Titans and Steelers thoughts coming up next.
Hey, y'all, I got some good news. Future of joint pain relief is here. It is QC Kinetics Advanced Regenerative Medicine, and it's amazing stuff. Hey, it is Kayla Anderson, and you've maybe been told steroid surgery, your only options. Not so fast, friends. Get a second opinion. Learn more about how you can harness your body's own healing agents to attack that joint pain. And that's not just short-term relief. I'm talking about long-term relief. QC Kinetics does not mask the pain. These treatments go to the very root of the problem. They restore and repair that damaged tissue. So maybe you're feeling it this fall in your knees, your hips, your shoulder, your back, whatever it is. Feel that no more with no drugs, no downtime, and no surgery. Life is all about motion. We all want to do the things we love to do as we grow older, and QC Kinetics is giving people their lives back with these all-natural treatments. So call QC Kinetics now for a free consultation, and it is 615-249-4024. Call them now, 615-249-4024.
So this is a small bird too for
That's
someone
right.
that's never seen a
Yeah.
bobwhite before. It's this little round softball.
That's right. Yeah, they're not much bigger than my fist. They've got little legs, but they're a ground nesting, ground dwelling bird. If they never have to fly in their life, they wouldn't. Right? They just do that to get away from hawks and owls for the most part, or hunters. What they need is largely herbaceous plant communities. Right? So they need wildflowers. They need a small proportion of grasses. I don't need vast grasslands, right? I need stuff that most people would call weeds. Those are providing good brood cover, good nesting cover, a lot of insects, right? That's what chicks need to develop early.
Bridgestone Firestone is a quail focus
It
or
is.
focal area. So tell us a little bit why.
Yeah, it's largely because there are very few places that have wild quail in the state of Tennessee anymore. And there's dozens of different factors that lead into that, right? Everybody wants to jump right to predators, but it's a habitat issue, right? It's a landscape change, whether we're talking about development or whether we're talking about fire not being on the landscape anymore, or fields and young forests progressing into closed canopy forest, right? So the farm, just by nature of it being an open landscape that's been maintained that way, has held on to some birds. And compared to most other places in the state, we're one of the very few. On top of that, the potential for growing that population, it's higher here than just about anywhere else.
RKW is brewed by 8th and Roast right here on 104.5 The Zone. Halftime of the show is right around the corner. We'll get into our tight end discussion coming up tonight in Pittsburgh, where Josh Wiley has no injury designation. We're ready to go to see him again. We'll see what that means for Chika Okonkwo, the rest of the Titans offense. We'll also hear from Coach Mack coming up at 8:20 this morning. Guys, ESPN has a new venture. And stop me if you've heard this before. It involves Pat McAfee.
Oh,
because it feels like every time ESPN does something new now, Pat has to be on it with no sleeves.
Yep.
The show College Football Primetime with the Pat McAfee Show will air on ESPN2 Saturday night at 6:30, hosted from McAfee's Indianapolis-based Thunderdome studio, as he knows it. It's going to be him and Reese Davis doing an NFL Red Zone style whip around show of college football games. So you're going to have the option of Iowa State, Kansas, USC, Washington, Rice, SMU, Mississippi State, Kentucky, NC State, Miami, and UTEP, Western Kentucky. Pat McAfee saying during Wednesday's episode of the Pat McAfee Show, this will be a take on Red Zone. It will be a college football frenzy. I like Pat McAfee. I'm a fan. I think he does a great job and a good show. We are being given too much Pat McAfee. It's official. I think we're there, guys.
I wonder if the money is so much that they're like, we are going to shove him down your throat. We paid him so much money.
Yeah.
We're going to do the same thing that we do to Stephen A. Smith. We're going to spread him so thin that eventually people in other markets where it's like when they put Stephen A. Smith on MMA coverage. Mm-hmm. It's like, why do we need him here? You know this isn't his realm of possibility. Hopefully Pat doesn't delve that far into it, but I just wonder if the money's a big factor.
Yeah.
So ESPN has always been known for, they kind of pick the people they put on the pedestal, like the broadcasters they do that with, but then they also overwork them, right?
Yeah.
They pay them a lot of money, but they also put them in every aspect of sports. Like you were saying, like Laura Rutledge even, I mean, she's on everything. I don't know how she even has time to take care of her kids because she's just all over the place. But it's one of their faces, and that is what they do. And I feel like that's exactly what they're doing with Pat McAfee. I was going to say, does he have a day off? Which I don't care. You get paid money. I don't care if you got a day off. But still, it's like, it's a little too much for me shoved down my throat in terms of content.
If y'all can find that Charles Barkley clip of him and Shaq and Kenny and Ernie, Charles Barkley's letting you know what it is. He was like, I can't go over there and work me to death. Like it's a real funny bit. And Charles Barkley really just he buried the lead by saying, you can never get me over there. And that's no disrespect to what the Mouse got going on, but you're right, Kayla. They pick their person and they run with it.
Yep.
And you're gonna be city to city. You're gonna be famous as heck. Mm-hmm. But you really gotta work though.
It is interesting though too that you can't do NFL Red Zone style programming with commercials. Like the whole point of this is you go commercial free for 7 hours and you have 7 hours of commercial free football, which starts now. And you have a host who gets out of the way and just lets the football be the football. Like Scott Hansen is the perfect guy for NFL Red Zone because he's likable. He's neutral. You never feel like he's cheering against your team. You always feel like he's cheering for your team, even when he's also cheering for the other team as you watch the game. And he is a perfect moderator. Like, I feel like Reese Davis on his own would be perfect for this.
Yes.
Have Reese Davis sit in a studio and do college football frenzy or whatever it is.
I agree.
Perfect. Just like how bases loaded during the College World Series and during the NCAA baseball tournament is outstanding for ESPN. But it just feels like, and you guys know, I really do like Pat McAfee. I have nothing against him. I just feel like you spread these guys so thin that then, like, they can't be the best versions of themselves at all times. They have no chance to. They don't have time to actually watch the games and then formulate educational opinions and informed opinions. They're being given opinions by so many producers because they're on air so much.
Well, and it takes away the uniqueness of who Pat McAfee is. And look, he dogged on my Cougs and whatever, but I still like Pat McAfee's show. I still think he brings some interesting things to the table and talks a lot of different topics and have some cool guests on. But when you're starting now to put him in every thing in terms of sports coverage. I'm like, I don't want that.
Yeah, the one guy I want in everything on ESPN is Scott Van Pelt. Scott Van Pelt would be the like red zone host. But again, talk about a guy who's literally on all hours of the day. Scott Van Pelt.
That man.
Gary on Twitter writes in, at Ramon Kayla Wills says, I'm coining a new term, Pat Maca-fatigue.
Oh,
that's good.
It will be.
That's good.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Halftime of the show coming up. What do the Titans do at tight end tonight? Chigakonkwo with a big drop last week. Does that mean we get more Josh Wiley? Our thoughts coming up next.
Hey, it's Ramon Foster. Get ready to kick off your weekend at Scoreboard Bar and Grill Cedar Creek Friday. Be a part of the Energist 3HL broadcast live from 3 to 6. You can enjoy 2-for-1s, register to win a pair of UT tickets, and try to beat Brenton Slave's picks for the $250 prize pack Saturday and Sunday. It's game day central with football, food, and tons of fun. Saturday, catch your favorite college team in action on over 60 TVs, and on Sunday, it's a fanfare. Show your team spirit and enter to win the ultimate Super Bowl party for you and your friends. It's a touchdown waiting to happen. Then stick around for the Spasmatics, okay? Nashville's ultimate party band, and dance the night away. And listen up. Get your boots ready, Nashville. Nashville Palace line dancing is where the action's at, okay? Voted the best line dancing spot in the city. They even have lessons on Tuesdays, Friday, and Saturday. Then dance parties continue after that. It's time to knock the dust off those boots right across from Opry, where it begins, where it's better than Broadway. So meet them at Scoreboard.
What's going on? Just a hair before 8 o'clock from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Robert Walsh. Raiders make some changes this time at quarterback. Interim head coach Antonio Pierce announces that Aiden O'Connell, the rookie fourth-round pick, will start this weekend against the Giants. In Atlanta, another quarterback swap as head coach Arthur Smith confirms it will be Taylor Heineke starting against the Minnesota Vikings, who will be starting at rookie fifth-round pick Jaron Hall in place of the injured Kirk Cousins. As for the Titans, final injury report came out yesterday. Ryan Tannehill, Chris Hubbard, and Roger McCreary all out tonight versus the Steelers, but Tom Pelissero reported this morning DeAndre Hopkins is expected to play despite his questionable tag. For the Steelers, they'll be without all-pro safety Minkah Fitzpatrick as he recovers from a hamstring injury he suffered last week against the Jaguars. Make sure you're not hamstrung for the game tonight. Tune in to Elite Company Countdown to Kickoff, hosted by 3HL from 4 to 5. After that, Titans Radio takes you all the way up to kickoff at 7:15. Don't forget, you can stream the game for free from the 104.5 The Zone app. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
RKW is brewed by 8th and Roast for 2 more hours on your Thursday morning game day edition of the program. With Ramon Foster up in Pittsburgh, joining us, working on the weekday like usual. Put it that way this morning for Ramon, who will be on the call with Titans Radio tonight. We've got Kayla Anderson, Robert Walsh, our producer. My name is Will Bowling. 615-737-1045, our number. You can see us, watch us, interact with us on 1045 The Zone TV in the F&M Bank chat, Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch.
Twitch, please.
Thank you so much. Mm-hmm. Robert Walsh, keeping us between the navigational beacons, just watching Ramon and I just clash heads on the histories of our NFL experiences. We have to give Ramon credit for having a foot in both camps and doing so elegantly this week. I imagine it's gonna feel not difficult because you're a professional, but it's gonna feel different being on the sideline tonight.
Yeah, and here's the thing: win or lose, I lose. Like, that's the way it is almost. Because I look at it and say, all right, Pittsburgh win, I got to go back to Nashville and. I'm going to hear from everybody because it's still hate week. If the Titans lose, of course, then there's a lot that goes into play. So you were hoping that the Steelers would win. There's a lot just going back and forth. So, yeah, I'm right in the middle. I'm like kids fighting for dad's attention. That's what I got right.
I bet. What's the first thing you got to eat there, though?
Man, I ain't even have no time to eat.
Wow.
I did not. Yeah, no.
Real
we
diet
landed.
talk.
Yeah, no. We were. Yeah, that's a starvation right there. I got in and I walked right to the team hotel, which are only like 2 blocks away from where the Titans are. So I walked over there to them, sat down, talked to the guys, went to the team meeting and everything, and then chatted some more with them after their meetings. Like, I really didn't have a lot. I ordered like a salad from room service and didn't eat that because you don't want that on full stomach. And then this morning I'm right back up, so I've had no time for nothing. Buck did hit me up and asked me for places to go have breakfast. I'm a little jealous of him right now.
I know. Look at him just what's it called?
Gallivanting.
Yeah.
Gallivanting around Pittsburgh. Buck gallivants wherever he goes.
He really does.
Yeah. Met him at the diner in Minnesota. I'm sitting down with a buddy of mine, and Buck just taps him. I'm like, what the heck are you doing here? And I forget, he goes on the road.
He's busy looking for all the lakes like you were up there.
Ponds.
Yeah, that's right, all the ponds. Let's go to Donna in Nashville on the phone lines, or you can join us at 615-737-1045. Hey, Donna.
Hey, Will. So,
what's going on?
Yeah. Everything's great. So I got to say, I'm proud of Will Levis because myself included, a lot of people talk-ish about him, and he withstood the pressure. And personally, when I look for a rookie receiver, I was wrong, but I was wrong because he exceeded my expectations. I look for a rookie receiver to not be hesitant. Hesitancy makes you late on throws. Read the defense well enough, play within the confines of the offense that you're given, and he was fearless. He did all of that. So it's not because he won one game. I'm not delusional, but he showed me something that I did not expect to see, and it's pretty awesome.
Appreciate the call. Thank you, Donna.
I think he's excited a lot of fans, and rightfully so. It's nice after coming off of that loss in the bye week just to have energy interjected into your veins like that.
Certainly is. I just couldn't believe the reaction in Nissan Stadium on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in a lot of ways it makes sense, but still, there is an element of just the first time you see a quarterback look that good is close to as much fun as you could have watching your offense play football at any level.
That was a part of it too, right? They hadn't scored 28 points since 2021.
Yeah.
It's like,
Right.
All right, give me some points.
Well, tonight, guys, it's a big night for a couple of tight ends. Josh Wiley is back. Chig Okonkwo has been back. How much more of Josh Wiley would you guys expect to see tonight, considering some of the persistent struggles that Chig Okonkwo is having at the tight end position right now?
This is very fascinating to me. I think there was a big plan for him in London and against Baltimore, and it seemed evident the fact that they went down the field with him. Well, a big plan means 5 targets a game, 6 targets a game. It looked like he's going to end up being one of these guys. And I said I was excited to talk about this, man, for a couple of reasons. I'm going to get in and get out real quick, okay? One, we're looking at the class that it looked like Rand is having right now. This ain't a Rand conversation, but it's just like hey, how do we scout? That's one of the biggest things this fan base has been looking at. Where is our quality of players? Why don't they continue to be successful? Why is it just one shot, right? Chig had a lot of hype coming into the season, and it's been hit and miss, hot and cold, whatever you want to call that. But I look at this draft versus last year's draft, and there was optimism on both and kind of parity in both, too. Rand's picks versus J-Rob's is what I'm looking at. Chig versus Wiley in this one. And just looking at the first 3 that Rand has, plus I always throw Wiley in there because a 4th round is very solid to me too. A 5th round is very solid to me too. If it shows that Rand can continue to do this with talent, meaning 1, 2, and 3 might be hits, and then you end up getting your later round guys. Of your 5th, 6th, and 7th rounders, you need about one of those guys to hit every other year, every year. Mm-hmm. And it looked like Rand is on point to do that. And the conversation of what Chig's been expected to do versus what he's done, and also what it looks like now, the expectation of Josh Wiley being incorporated into this offense because of Chig's second-year slump, sophomore slump is what we want to call it.
Yeah.
It looked like it's prime for Wiley to kind of take the reins from him, because what does Chig deserve other than the fact that he's a year ahead of him?
Yeah, you're not wrong. Everything that you said about Rand in terms of his picks so far, and that still has to play out the rest of the season, but he's looking really nice now with the picks that he's had so far. And the only thing about Josh Wiley, I think, to start the season, why a lot of people weren't talking about him as much, is he was a little banged up, right? He got banged up towards the end of camp, so we weren't able to see him as much to start the season. So it's been a smaller sample size for Josh Wiley, but the sample size that you have seen, 4 targets, 4 receptions, a touchdown, right, before getting the concussion in that Ravens game. And when I spoke with Mike Vrabel this week on Monday, I asked, if he'd be back. Mike Vrabel just didn't say, yeah, he looks to be back. He was raving about Josh Wiley, who he calls Cheddar Bob. I got to get into investigating that a little bit more.
8 Mile.
Exactly.
8 Mile.
But I want to know, why give it to Josh Wiley that, right? We'll investigate on that and get back to you on it. But I will say this, he was raving about him. And I think because he sees the same thing that we're seeing, he's ascending. And I'm not saying that Chig can't be the player we expect him to be, but I do feel like the pressure has kind of been taking it upon himself to, that he heard during the preseason, and he was going to be that guy. I think it's a sophomore slump situation, but the biggest thing for Chig, he has got to get out of his own head, you guys. He's had 3 drops and big drops at that. I think PFF has him rated at 55.4 in terms of his percentage.
Which is out of 100.
That's not good. The opportunities he's had some big opportunities, and he's dropped the ball on that, literally. And I just think it's a mind thing, guys.
Yeah.
I think for Chig, too, it's not just the fact that he's being keyed in on more by the defense. He's just missing easy throws. He's dropping the football in situations that you just can't drop the football. I think not all sophomore slumps are created equally, right, guys?
Mm-hmm.
That this is not just, hey, this is a guy that flashed as a contributor last season that we have to take away. No, Chig is taking himself away by dropping it.
Yeah, and that's what's most frustrating about it, is because the speed is there. He can catch the ball. He's getting better. His expectation to block is getting better too. And it's just, this is a fast changing league. If he doesn't, jump in the boat in this second half of the season, it's going to be problematic for him, especially if you have Josh Wiley getting more touches. You have Josh Wiley being able to catch the ball. I'm trying to remember on that hit in Baltimore, against in London against the Ravens, did he still catch it also? Because I almost feel like he still caught the ball.
He did, because, he's got 4-4.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm looking at this situation as, what have you done for me lately? It's always that in this league, man. And if he doesn't jump in this boat and get it together, that's going to be something that he takes a back seat. Now, I think he's talented enough to stay on this roster and be a part of this team, but everybody wants to be that premier guy. We pretty much correlated him to Delaney Walker. That's a lot to live up to.
Mm-hmm.
Too quickly. You're right. That was on us. That ain't on him. You're right about that. That's an us problem. But I say this to bring it back to where I wanted to start at. Rand versus J-Rob picks. Rands look like they get going real fast. And Chig has some moments, right? You got to be hopeful for what this draft is looking like for him, and what it's going to look like for the future, too. If you hit on your 1, 2, 3, and 5, and we still got to figure out what Jalen Duncan's about, and everybody in that building that I know is like, he got it. It's just the small little items that he got to get over for himself. So very fascinating. And of course, Colton's, he hasn't given me any reason not to believe him. He made the initial 53-man roster, and there have been cuts, and he's still a part of this team. I hope I didn't jinx him, but he's still a part of this squad.
Do you feel like Chig's blocking has been better at all?
I don't know what to think of Chig's blocking. It's been hit or miss from what I've seen. There's no level of consistency in that, then it's going to be bad, essentially, Kayla. If it's not consistent, then it's bad, you know?
615-737-1045. We'll get back to your phone calls coming up at 8:45. But next, he is the head coach of Titans Radio. You'll hear him tonight with voice of the Titans, Mike Keith, with Rhett Bryant, Brad Willis, and with Ramon Foster. He is Coach Dave McGinnis, next on RKW. He is the head coach of Titans Radio, and he joins us every Thursday right here on RKW, brewed by 8th and Roast. And today he does so on a game day edition of the show. It's Coach Mac, presented by Two Rivers Ford, Middle Tennessee's most trusted local Ford dealership for 40 years. From Pittsburgh this morning, we catch up with Coach Mac. What's up, Coach? How are you?
Well, I'm good. Kayla, how you doing? I know Ramon is up here sitting in a big studio. They had a reception for Ramon when he got in here last night. The city of Pittsburgh did. So I'm sure he's laid back in a big leather chair up there in the Cumulus studio here in Pittsburgh. But I'm doing good.
How big was the key to the city they gave Ramon, Coach Mac?
Well, it was quite the reception.
Yeah.
You know, when we pulled up to the hotel, and then the rest of the crew, Mike Keith took us out to dinner last night with Ashley Farrell's parents, and so we went to one restaurant, and then they took Ramon off in a limousine somewhere else.
Oh,
outstanding!
What
Coach
treatment?
Mac, you used to be better than this, Coach Mac.
Well, you know, look, if I'm with somebody that deserves props, I give them props. I mean, I don't look. Most cities we go into, you know, people are glad to see me. They couldn't care less when I came into this city when they saw Ramon. I mean, it was over.
Well, Coach Mac, I had to
And
match your.
rightfully so, Mon.
I had to match your energy because whenever we went to Chicago, a place where you laid down some ground, I saw people run in traffic and dodge cars to get to you. And those people weren't just regular pedestrians. They were controlling owners of the Chicago Bears, Coach Mac.
Yeah, but they didn't have a limo for me. But you know what? I'm not trying to compare things.
Hey, that's what you like to say sometimes.
Stretch
That's just
limo.
some good stuff, Coach Mac. That's just some good stuff. That's
right.
all.
That's right. Scale of 1 to 10.
Coach Mac, I'm sure you've been asked this a lot this week, and looking back at the film, there was a lot to like about Will Levis's first NFL start. What impressed you the most about what he was able to do on Sunday against Atlanta?
You know, Will, really just the way he conducted himself on the field. Let's just take away let's take away the throws and all the things that he did physically. I like the way he mentally handled the game and was able to, you know, he was very dialed in with what was going on. I mean, his situational and spatial awareness I thought was really, really good. You know, his command of the huddle. He changed plays at the line of scrimmage. I said that a few times because I could tell, because, you know, with those parabolic mics, you can hear, you know, what's going on. And he was changing plays at the line of scrimmage. And those types of things are really important, you know, for a quarterback to have command of the game. So I thought he did a nice job in that. He's still got a lot to clean up. Look, this league has a way of raising you up, and it also has a way of humbling you. Yeah. And so the thing that you have to continue to do is to continue to work. And that's what got him to the point where he was in Nissan Stadium, you know, on Sunday. That's what got him to the point, because all he's done since he's gotten here is worked, and he's worked through, you know, a lot of things. And so when he got his chance, I thought he was mentally prepared, and I thought that he was just emotionally prepared for the moment, because that was a big moment. And you know, that was a big game. It was they're all big games, but that one, you know, because of everything else surrounding it, plus the win was very badly needed. I thought that is what impressed me, because look, you've got to be watching with your eyes closed. I get to watch practice from start to finish every day. And I mean, the arm talent was, you know, available from the start. If you knew what you were looking at, the arm talent was there, you know, in the vetting of the draft. You can see all of that, but the rest of the things that go into being a quarterback in the National Football League, at least he had a good start with those things, in my opinion.
And Coach Mac, too, when you think about the way Tim Kelly and Charles London used Will Levis's strengths to his advantage in his first game, I imagine a lot of credit goes to those guys and just helping him be decisive, quick to get the football out of his hands. He was under pressure on 43% of his dropbacks. But, Coach Mac, we're looking at the game here post-game thinking it doesn't feel like he was under that much pressure, because he was letting it spin with guys in his face pretty much the whole day.
Well, it's going to happen. You're going to have people in your face in the National Football League. That's just life, and that's going to be his life for the rest of the time he's a quarterback in this league. There's not anybody that's ever played quarterback in this league that hadn't been hit. That's just as much as those guys, you try to protect them, you just don't want them to get consistently tsunamied where you've got no chance. The thing that he was able to do was able to run. Was able to run the offense. And look, coaches and players, to be successful, have to be able to be in a very, very symbiotic relationship. I mean, and it just happens on good teams. That's just the way it is. You have to have good players, and then you have to have coaches that help those good players do what they do best. And so, yeah, I mean, when you win, look, there are things that when you look at it, you can never get this league. You can never get too elevated with your expectations, and you can never get too low when your expectations aren't met. You have to continue to work. The thing that I like is that I have witnessed this guy being willing to work on specific things of his craft that his coaches have been talking to him about since he showed up here after the draft.
Coach Mack, when you go to a young guy that's had the week that Will Levis had, from a coaching perspective, what do you say to him going into his second start, Coach Mack, in such a young career, and to kind of level him off from that type of high he had on Sunday in Nissan Stadium?
I don't say anything to him, and I don't think you don't. Because I tell you who levels you off are the players in the locker room. They level you off, and also if you understand what this league is, just being aware of what the league is will level you off. All right. And to me, the players that can handle, especially young players, Ramon, to your point, that can handle success as well as handle failure, those are the ones that are going to have some sustained success if they continue to do the correct things as far as in preparation, as far as in being a professional of taking care of your body, everything that goes into it. So, I mean, if you're going to jump up and down and get really high when things are good, and then when they're low, you sink back into the shadows, you're never going to be able to accomplish what you should be able to accomplish with the skills that have gotten you into this league. So look, it's business as usual. You did your job. You won a game. It was great. We got to play again on Thursday. This is what your job is.
No doubt about it, Coach Mack. And Pittsburgh has already said Cam Hayward is going to be playing tonight. What kind of challenge does that present to this offensive line, and also to Will Levis, of course, because he's a guy that likes to push that center guard triangle that you always speak about?
Yeah, Cam Hayward has always been he's a beast. You know that better than anybody. I mean, you can speak to that more than anybody else. I mean, that's a big part of their defense that has been missing, since the start of the season with that groin injury that he had. So, yeah, I mean, and I fully expected him to be activated this week. I think you did too when we talked. This is a big game. This is a big game for them too. I mean, they're getting to the point of the season now where, I mean, everything counts in the National Football League. But look, I've coached teams against Cam Hayward. Cam Hayward is someone you've got to get a hat or two on all of the time because he is a game wrecker down underneath.
Coach Mack joining us now on Ramon, Kayla, and Will. I want to talk about the Titans' defense, and this stat courtesy of our good friend Jimmy Wyatt. Kenny Pickett, quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers, who is looking to get the start tonight, he has won each of his past 5 primetime starts, Coach Matt. How important is it for this defense, like they did at home last weekend, to kind of get that pressure from the jump?
Well, it's going to be very important. I mean, that was a big part of that ball game. They did not let Desmond Ridder, and then and then when Desmond Ridder went out, they didn't let those guys breathe. They did not give Arthur Smith a whole lot of room to be able to call that game, and that's what has to happen tonight. I mean, that defensive front, we've talked about it, since the preseason. The defensive front is the strength of this football team, and they need to be. And so that has to happen. I mean, that has to be a constant that you can count on every game. You know how they say, especially when the weather starts to turn, that at least that defense can travel. Mm-hmm. Well, that has to be the case, and that has to be the case tonight because look, when this ball game kicks off, you know what the atmosphere is going to be like in that place. And that's the other thing that, the young quarterback's going to have to handle is a hostile environment on a big stage. But the thing that can help him a lot is for this defense to continue to roll like they were last weekend, to your point.
I wanted to ask you about, we had this conversation earlier, Coach, when we were talking about Chigakonkwo, and now kind of Josh Wiley seemed to be ascending before that concussion. He'll be back tonight. How can you kind of tell in terms of a guy maybe in Chig who might be having a little bit more of a sophomore slump, or do you think it's more so he's in his head? And then what do you like what you've seen about Josh Wiley lately?
Look, a tight end in the National Football League has to do two things: block and catch the ball. Block and catch the ball. Know who you're blocking. Do that job. When the ball's thrown to you, catch it. And that's that. Look, this is a production-based league, play to play. So you have to. Those things have to happen. Chig has got the ability to do that. We've seen him do it. So catch the football. If you're asked to block, whoever you're asked to block, how you're asked to block, what's form or fashion, do it. Just do your job. And that's I never really got into the fact that somebody, a player of mine, if they were was slumping or whatever that means, I would always say, hey, you've done this before. Just do your job. Mm-hmm. Don't worry about anything else. Just do your job. And because Chig has been open and he's been thrown to. So when we're talking about that aspect of his game, catch the football. And if you're asked to block, whether you're asked to block straight up, whether you're asked to chip, whether you're asked to double, whether you're asked to crunch, whether you're asked to kick out, whether you're asked to lead block, just do your job. And don't worry about anything else. Josh Wiley just needs to stay healthy. Look,
yeah,
the hit that he took in London was a massive hit. And he held on to the ball. You can't look. This is a violent sport that they're playing, violent. And so when you get hit like that, well, then the concussion protocol being what it is, I mean that's what it is. But when you get your chance, when you get back out continue to do your job. And that to me, if you start worrying about all the other extraneous things that people talk about, it really doesn't matter. There's a job that you have to do in the National Football League. Once the whistle blows to start a game, do that.
Coach Mack with us, presented by Two Rivers Ford. Coach Mack, Pittsburgh is averaging 111 fewer yards per game than their opponent, which is the worst differential in the league, but they're +7 in the turnover margin, largely because T.J. Watt is an absolute game wrecker. What specifically makes him so special at that edge rusher position?
Well, first of all, he's a very, very talented and a multifaceted rusher. I mean, and put above all of that, put above all of the really good moves that he has, put above all of the nuances that he has rushing, put relentless above all of that. And you're right. I mean, this football team right now, the Steelers, when you go back and look at the chronology of what their season is this year, they're winning because they hang around long enough and stay in it. And then somebody, especially on defense, will turn the page and will get a turnover and flip the ball game. And most of the time, it's Watt. I mean, and that's how they're winning right now. So what you have to do as an opponent, if you're on offense, you've got to be able to protect the football first of all, and you've got to be able to keep the football. And then if you get a chance, and I say if you get a chance early on to separate a score, you've got to put your foot on the gas to separate the score, because what has happened, if you go back and really dial in on their games, is there's been moments in games as to where it could have gotten away from them early in the season, but they hang in there long enough that then they'll make game-changing plays, and the defense has been doing that quite a bit this year.
Coach Mack, when you look at also the storyline, too, of this offensive line for the Titans, too, everybody loves a little redemption story, right, Coach Mack? And Andre Dillard got an opportunity to kind of do that tonight in prime time, along with NPF in his second start. Coach Mack, how do you look at these two tackles in this matchup and the problems that they should be creating for the other side?
Well, look, the edges have got to be protected tonight, from the tackles, and that they'll need some help too. I mean, you're going to have to chip. You're going to have to be able to turn protection. You're going to have to be able to run the football enough that you put them in conflict so that they can't just get down in those track stances and come at you. Because talk about T.J. Watt. Well, Highsmith's no empty chair either. I mean, these guys historically in a 3-4 defense, the Pittsburgh Steelers have always had guys on the edge that could make a difference defensively. Always. Just go back in history and look at it. And they've got it now. So yes, those two guys have got to stand up to this challenge tonight. And it's going to be a loud, I don't have to tell you, it's going to be a loud environment. when the Titans are on offense. And so you've got to be even more hypersensitive and dialed into the snap count and not be jumping. Don't get any unforced errors as far as, false starts, those types of things. When they start cranking Renegade up here and people start waving those towels, this thing gets loud here. I've coached here a lot of times, and so you've got to be prepared for all of that because, that is going to be a reality tonight.
Coach, when you look at this Pittsburgh Steelers offense, obviously, I think averaging, 16 and a half per game. Not a lot of offense. However, there are weapons there, and Kenny Pickett has loved to go to his weapon in George Pickens. I got to always get that right. What do you see out of that wide receiver?
Pickens is a special talent. Physical talent in this league. He's one of those guys that can go along and have 2 and 3 catches a game and all of a sudden explode and have 9 or 10 because he's an exceptional physical talent. Big, long, and he's got speed. His catch radius is really, really big. And look, Pickett coming out of the draft, everybody was talking about his small hands, this, that. Look, this guy's a dealer. This dude is a dealer. He was a dealer at Pitt. He's a dealer now. And there was no doubt in my mind that he was going to play in this ball game. I don't care how many smoked ribs he's got. He was going to play in this ball game because it's, football here in Pittsburgh is pretty important, and this is an important game for both of these football teams. And it shocked me none, that he and Hayward both were going to be playing in this game. But we cannot let this guy get comfortable. And the thing that we have to do, they haven't been able to get their running game going. We cannot allow that to happen. The defense needs to make them one-dimensional and then start working on that.
He is Coach Dave McGinnis, Titans Radio's head coach, presented as always here on Thursday mornings by Two Rivers Ford. Coach Mack, you just let us know or let anybody else know if you need more security for Ramon Foster up there in Pittsburgh tonight.
No, they've got plenty of security.
Okay,
they have,
perfect.
Here in Pittsburgh, they've got those mounted police. They had two horses with policemen riding behind the limo last night. So, he won't ride the bus to the stadium with us. He'll be in that limo parade again.
Perfect.
Amazing.
Coach Mack, bringing it as always. Coach Mack, have a good call tonight. Looking forward to listening.
See you guys. Thanks.
All right, there's Coach Mack with us this morning here in the show. They're going to have Ramon Foster riding in on a donkey.
How y'all get Coach Mack to act like this, okay? That's crazy.
That's how you know Ramon's backed into a corner when he starts just going, that's crazy. Wow.
That was my next word. You took it from me, Will.
Yeah, that's right.
Wow, man.
615-737-1045. If you've got a shot that you want to call tonight, a prediction for Thursday night football, we've got time to take them right here at 615-737-1045. We'll get to David in Lebanon first up on the other side as we talk Titans and Steelers with you right here on RKW. Hey, what's going on? It's Will Bowling here for my friends at Lee Company, reminding you that if you're looking to keep your home in great shape year-round, you got to do one thing. Sign up for a Lee Company home maintenance plan for $12 a month. Plan members receive 4 visits a year from the Lee Company team of experts. Here's what you're going to get: a heating system tune-up, an air conditioning tune-up, an electrical inspection, and a detailed plumbing inspection as well. It's help for all 4 seasons from our friends at Lee Company. That's 4 annual visits, and you're going to get it for only $12 a month. For the very best in-home service, call Lee Company today at 615-567-1000 or visit them online at leecompany.com and search home maintenance plan to join their membership. Look, weather's been in the 20s when we've been getting up to do this show early in the mornings. You got to be prepared for a full winter of this. 615-567-1000. That's the number you need to call. 4 annual visits, $12 a month for the very best in the business. Online at leecompany.com. That's Lee Company, all you need. 615-737-1045, the number on a Thursday morning edition of RKW, brewed by 8th and Roast, with locations on 8th Avenue, Charlotte, at the Broadview over by Vanderbilt, and the airport as well. 8th and Roast Coffee cultivates community by the cup. I went by there yesterday, guys, got a BECC. That is a bacon, egg, and cheddar croissant.
Whoa.
Is what that is. It's a white cheddar cheese with this like thick back bacon. It was incredible. And then I got a bourbon maple caramel latte, which is one of their seasonal fall drinks. Ramon's giving me a look in a good way.
Wow.
They are killing it over
good.
there.
Because I heard you went through there. The
streets were talking about it, perhaps.
There was a parade for you, too?
Damn.
Perhaps.
Parade, it was. And I heard it was phenomenal. Well, the thick bacon, that's the only type of bacon it should be.
With 2 Qs.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even if you want to make it simple, guys, when you go over to 8th and Roast and you just want a basic something for lunch, they have their homemade peanut butter and jelly sandwiches as well. Like, who does that? I was like, oh, this is perfect. I didn't want anything crazy.
Yeah.
I'll just get a PB&J.
That's one of the best things we would have after practice at UT at nutrition with the fresh made peanut butter.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh. And I guarantee it's fresh made peanut butter.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, see, I know it.
And with that, I'm hungry at 8:48 in the morning. 9:48 for you.
It is 9:40. It's weird with this time change like that. It is. I'm like, oh, we're about to be done with the show. No, we got another hour. That's an hour ahead.
No, it's been quick.
It has been quick. Today's been a fun day, too, man.
Has been fun.
Yeah.
It feels like a Friday. We got Friday tomorrow.
I was going to say the same thing.
But it's all reactionary, right? So that'll be even more fun, hopefully in a good way.
Hopefully.
Boy, how we going to see? We'll see.
David in Lebanon is next, 615-737-1045. What's up, David?
Good morning. How are you guys doing?
We're loving life.
Good morning.
This is the month to remember the good blessings the Lord gave us, and I just want to say I am truly thankful for all the crews at 1045. Y'all are a very important part of my day and night, and I just want to say I'm thankful for all of y'all.
David.
Thank you, David.
We appreciate you.
Now say something mean, David. That was too nice.
But y'all was talking about the tight ends earlier. That I'm a Titan fan from the very beginning, and I remember the well-oiled machine we had with McNair and Wycheck. I would love to see that again with Levis and Wiley. That would be so great to have that combination going again, and the protection for Henry. I think if they could get that going and get it oiled just right, we would have an amazing team. I mean, we've got the talent there. They've just got to go in there and say, hey, we're going to do it.
Yep.
I like it.
Absolutely.
Thank you, David. Appreciate the call.
And real quick, too, I'm not out on Traylon. You know what I'm saying? As far as like saying, well, we got to get a wide receiver next year or something like that. We just need to see Traylon live up to what we've seen him do already. That's it.
615-737-1045 if you want to call your shot for tonight's game. Dean and Franklin is up next with us on the phone lines this morning. What's up, Dean?
Hey, love your guys' show. Ramon, I've got the perfect video for you up in Pittsburgh. Having a BEC on top of the horseback with the bourbon coffee. I think that would be awesome. So
you know, I can make that happen easily. We can definitely make that happen.
All right. So here's my prediction for tonight. I know they got TJ Watt and everything like that, but the Steelers' defense is not what it used to be, and it wasn't too good last year, and it's a little worse, I think, this year. Just in looking at the numbers, and they're missing their star safety in Minka Fitzpatrick, and then of course you got Kenny Pickett, which is Mike Tomlin said he was a game time decision, so. They've had several 100-plus yard rushers against them this year, and that means Derrick Henry time. So with Minka out, they certainly won't have the ability to combat, an air threat, which we now appear to have in Levis. So if Pickett gets hurt, which I hope it doesn't happen, but he's banged up, that would leave Mitch Trubisky as quarterback, which is an advantage for us. So I think the scores are going to be looking a lot like looking into a mirror. 31-13.
Ooh.
Okay.
Wow.
I like it,
Look
Dean.
at that, Dean.
Going for it.
Big hitter, baby.
I do think when it comes to replacing Minkah Fitzpatrick, specifically, Ramon, it's, to me, more difficult than just replacing an average safety. A, because Minkah Fitzpatrick is far from an average safety, but he does everything on that defense.
He does. He plays the back end, man. He plays linebacker level and make plays behind the line of scrimmage too. I figure somebody would ask me, what do you do to replace Minkah? Nothing. Find another one.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's what you do in those situations, man. Even if he went to Alabama, saw him last night, man. I gotta tell folks too. If you ever just been around football players, even the smaller ones like linebackers, wide receivers, safeties, they are some big dudes. And it didn't register to me until like I grabbed Minkah's shoulder and I was like, dog, why is your shoulders this big? And guys got to be that big to play this sport. Even the smaller guys, man. It was eye-opening to me.
He was talking about Derrick Henry, too, and I think that's a big part of this one, as we were mentioning earlier. I love this stat, courtesy of the stats that the Titans give us every week. Derrick Henry, most rushing yards per primetime game since 2000, including regular and postseason, and that's 95.7 per game. Edgerrin James is next, and Sean Alexander at 3.
Not bad.
Wow, not bad at all.
Derrick Henry playing for the third time against the Steelers, one of the teams he has seen the least in his Titans career. Had 7 carries for 32 his first game against Pittsburgh, and then in 2020, in the loss at home to that Pittsburgh team that was still somehow undefeated at that point. 20 carries for 75 yards and a touchdown in Nissan Stadium. So only 27 carries for 107, 4 yards a carry and a touchdown for Derrick against Pittsburgh. Certainly, I think you could expect him to eclipse that number just tonight, you would hope.
Yeah.
615-737-1045, our number. We'll get to Eric and Jerry on the other side. Your chance to make your prediction on the record for what happens tonight in Thursday Night Football between Titans and Steelers. We welcome your phone calls and welcome you for 60 more minutes right here on RKW.
It's Ramon Foster from My PhD Weight Loss. You guys, I'm almost like a year removed from where I started my diet. And actually, it's kind of cool outside. A little bit colder now in November. So I got on one of my jogger suits or whatever. And when I tell you that this jacket is huge on me, it is. And that's because, I have to thank My PhD Weight Loss for their help and guidance through this journey for me. And it's simply that. My coach, Rachel's still with me. That's one of the best things that you can have in this journey is somebody to walk it with you, guide you through, even in the times where it's just like, man, today ain't the day for me, or you just take a L that day. Well, they'll be there to guide you through the rest of it because they live by their guarantee. If you don't get within 5 pounds of your target weight by the end of your program, PhD will continue to coach you for free until you do. That's exactly what's going on right now. And with the holiday season coming up, we're talking about November just hit. We just got past the candy month, okay? And December's right after that because, the holiday season. And then New Year's with your New Year's resolutions. I don't care if it's 10 pounds, 15, 20, 50, 70, like myself. Visit My PhD Weight Loss and get on track. Feel better about yourself. Look better. Get those goals accomplished this year as you set up your New Year's resolution. Again, visit myphdweightloss.com.
What's going on, you bunch of hooligans? 9 o'clock on a game day. Good morning from the 104.5 The Zone studios. I'm Robert Walsh. Raiders continue to make some changes, but this time it's at quarterback. Interim head coach Antonio Pierce announces that Aiden O'Connell, rookie fourth-round pick out of Purdue, is going to start against the Giants. In Atlanta, another quarterback swap, as Arthur Smith confirms it will be Taylor Heineke starting against the Minnesota Vikings, who are also starting a new quarterback in place of the injured Kirk Cousins. Rookie fifth-round pick Jaron Hall will start for the Vikings. As for the Titans, final injury report came out yesterday. Ryan Tannehill, Chris Hubbard, and Roger McCreary are all out tonight versus the Steelers. But Tom Pelissero reported this morning DeAndre Hopkins is expected to play despite the questionable tag. For the Steelers, they'll be without all-pro safety Minkah Fitzpatrick as he recovers from a hamstring injury he suffered last week against the Jaguars. But make sure you're not hamstrung for the game tonight. Tune in to Lee Company Countdown to Kickoff, hosted by 3HL, 4 to 5. After that, Titans Radio takes you all the way up to kickoff at 7:15. Don't forget you can stream the game for free from the 104.5 The Zone app. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
On a game day morning, we welcome you into 60 more minutes. It is RKW brewed by 8th and Roast. We are caffeinated and opinionated on a day that feels like a Friday a little bit. That's all right. You can go ahead and start celebrating Friday a little bit early. Titans play tonight. Maybe you're going to have some people over, a beverage or two, watch the Titans play the Steelers. Football weather outside. There's just lots to be excited about. On your Thursday morning, November the 2nd, with Ramon Foster and Kayla Anderson, Robert Walsh in charge of all of us hooligans and all of our tomfoolery this morning. My name is Will Bowling, 615-737-1045. The number streaming live on 1045 The Zone TV and also available wherever you download podcasts if you need a little bit of just bite-sized Titans conversation this morning. You can find that wherever you download podcasts at 10 a.m. every single weekday. Guys, this feels like one of the fastest shows we've done in a little bit.
It really has.
It does. I'm thankful for it, too. This week seems like the fastest, longest, shortest week ever. Of course, hinged on the fact I had to come back here to Pittsburgh. But it's been a blast, though, man. I will say you guys have played this rivalry with good intentions. I love it.
Yeah, you got to do that, right? It's so few chances that you're able to go back and do this type of a thing, Ramon. It's so cool because you're not just talking about this game. Like, you're actually on the sidelines tonight in a place where you played for 11 seasons. That's just incredible. And I would imagine you, like when you stepped on the field to play your first game, might be having some kind of weird emotions when you step on the field to do the sideline tonight.
I will, because I've always looked over at the other sideline, being the home team, and hated those people on the other side. And now I'm on the other side of it. It'll be fascinating just to see how the opposing team takes it. And also, I can't stress enough. I'm glad I got noise canceling headphones for the broadcast. Because the amount of people probably saying my name tonight and trying to get my attention, I got to focus in on the job and task. So I'm here for a reason.
I know Blaine Bishop has talked about this before, about the things that you tell yourself in your mind to hate the opponent a little bit more. Were you like that? Did you have to hate them during the game, or could you just go out there with the idea that, no, I'm just here to do my job?
No, it was a hate towards it.
Okay,
because
perfect.
You always got to find that edge. You know what I'm saying? No matter where you come from, you always find that edge. And after the game, man, it is weird. I could hate a guy, dog a guy out, put him on the ground, probably do something illegal I didn't get caught with, and immediately after the game, man, dude, great battle, man. How's the family?
How are the boys doing?
Yeah. It's
classic.
like it disappears. Why I've always kind of, players that want to fight before and after the game, man, we all out here just trying to go home and all that tough guy stuff. Guess what? You have a very high-paying job. You going back to suburbia. Do you understand me? Or to some high-rise downtown. Ain't nobody trying to fight and go to jail. So, man, dead all that stuff.
615-737-1045. We are asking for your predictions for what happens tonight on Thursday Night Football, where the news came down this morning from Tom Pelissero that DeAndre Hopkins, although questionable, is expected to play. Good news for
Really
the Titans.
good news.
Certainly.
Yeah.
Let's go to Eric in Nashville next. 615-737-1045. What's up, Eric?
Hey, guys. Doing a little bit better now than I was this time yesterday. I had a dog's bump yesterday. I had a little bit of a health scare, but wound up with a clean bill of health, so I'm definitely relieved at that. But, guys, let me tell you something about tonight. I want to say so bad I think the Titans are going to win, but, guys, it's the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I just do not have a great feeling about this game. I know I heard the last call talk about injuries and all this stuff, but here's my thing. Guys, I think we've lost, the last 4 games to Steelers is something like 5 out of the last 6. Yep. I could be wrong on that. And I remember 3 of those times specifically. I remember the game 2 years ago, we had all the injuries. We wound up with the number 1 seed. The Steelers' offense was terrible, but our offense was not much better, and their defense rose to the occasion and beat us. The game where they came here in the close game, and that was the Steelers team that went 11-0 during the pandemic. We lost to them here. And also, I remember another Thursday night game we went up there and played awful. And the main common denominator, guys, is Mike Tomlin. 15 years, he's never had a losing season. This is a guy that can make chicken salad out of you-know-what. Guys, I never count against this man, counted out, and all the odds favor probably us. But Mike Tomlin always seems to come up with a game plan. And I'm going to say something that people may think I'm crazy about to say this, but I really believe this. I believe if he had been the coach of like teams in the past, like the Buffalo Bills, Cincinnati Bengals, and Dallas Cowboys that are fighting for playoffs and everything like that, they probably by now would have hoisted the Lombardi trophy. And I really believe, and people are going to say I'm crazy saying this, I believe if he had been here, one of these Titans teams, whether or not they won the Super Bowl, I don't know, but I think this team would have found a way to Super Bowl. That's how confident in the coach I am of him. Guys, I just don't take that guy for granted. I think he's one of the best coaches in football, and I just never count him out. Guys, y'all take care, and we'll talk again soon.
Thank you, Eric. I don't think that's crazy at all. I don't think anyone's going to look at it and like you're crazy for that. I mean, I think Mike Tomlin is one of the best in this league.
Yeah. And you know what? So you guys know I do work up here in Pittsburgh, too, with my pod. Mm-hmm. And I hear the fan base. Some of the fan base, of course, has the conversation like they do with Vrabel. Get rid of him. It's tired. It's stale. It's old. And just hearing Eric's sentiment, who's a fan of the Titans, say they love the coach. Like, if he's let go ever in Pittsburgh, immediately the phone's ringing. You know, like as far as any team. And and the same goes for Vrabes, too. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's certain coaches that, you just got to deal with them as they go through a funk. Mm-hmm. Right, or try to figure out what their goals are as a team. And I always tell Steelers fans, I was like, all right, go ahead, fire him if you want to. You're gonna have to play him and probably get beat by him at some point in time. That's just how it goes with certain people that have that reputation.
And I think Mike Tomlin has had a larger sample size, right, of doing that consistently than Mike Vrabel has. But I do look at them as very similar coaches in the way that their players love them. They are loyal, right? And that might be the one little downfall. But altogether, when you're down and out, you can count on these coaches to rally your team. And that's why this game is so fascinating to me. Because I don't know what the heck to expect tonight. Because I feel both guys are in there like running, like players are running through doors for them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of truth to that. It's two coaches that mirror each other and two teams that mirror each other. And we'll welcome in another guy who knows that very well, and Bryant McFadden coming up here in about 10 minutes, who can speak to that as well from CBS Sports. But for right now, we go to Jerry in Nashville, who is up next, 615-737-1045. Hey, Jerry.
Hey, good morning to y'all.
Morning.
Good morning.
Can y'all hear me fine?
We got you.
Okay, hey, listen, I want to call in. I'm just being honest. I'm an old school guy that, used to Mark Howard and all those guys that are now gone. But I was really critical for you guys at the beginning, probably more so because it was all new to me. But let me tell you something. You can take it to heart. You guys are growing every day, and the world is going to crap. At least the show is progressing and getting better all the time. I want to shout out the young lady because I was critical of her at first. Because here's the deal. most of the time when you turn on these ESPNs and they got their little Barbie dolls and they don't know anything about the game, bro. And I want to tell all you women out there, if you want to get your man hot and rivaled, start talking about sports and actually know about it and look out. You're going to have a great life. But I want to say, Ramon, all you guys are doing a great job. I'm impressed by the young lady there that, she's really growing and really earning her keep. And I like that, man. So it's refreshing. I wanted to say that. As far as the prediction, I'm not a Titans fan. That's another reason why I'm glad that the show is progressing, because even though you don't have to be a fan, but you can get logical, good explanations and everything. So that's where I'm calling to brag on you guys. As far as the game goes, as I said, I'm not a Titans fan. I think because it's the Steelers on Monday night, it's not Monday night, but it's an off night.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to bet against them, man. So I'm not going to do it. But if there's one team that can do it, it is the Titans, because they pull an ace out of the card, just like the gentleman said. Got a great coach. And another thing I'll say, and that's it, is that be excited, Titans fans, because you guys have got an excellent general manager and an excellent coach. And I said this when it happened. You guys are on the way. So, again, take it for what it's worth. God bless y'all, and continue to do a great job.
Thank you, Jerry.
Thanks, Jerry.
I don't like this.
What?
Everybody's being
Jerry.
too
Calling and
nice.
praising us.
Jerry, you see me in public, man. Pull me to the side so I can shoot you this $100 bill, man. You earned that. That was beautiful.
Maybe 50 because he only knows your name. It was young lady, and then I didn't even get a mention. But maybe I'm not progressing. So.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did.
It's funny.
That was
nice.
We don't
of you,
deserve
Jerry.
that call. Thank you, Jerry.
We're getting too much praise, man. We're going to get lackadays, and we're going to rest on our laurels. I like when our back's against the wall.
Yeah, keep our laurels under cover, under wraps.
Right.
We don't need to rest on those laurels.
That's what I'm saying. No rest over here.
No, man, no. Listen, he took us down memory lane for a lot of reasons. He mentioned the older show, which of course replacing that legacy of a show and how we all had to earn our keep. Hey, as much heat as I took this week, I'm taking that compliment. Y'all cannot take it. Thank you, Jerry. Okay.
Yeah. Can we get back to the Ramon hate on Steelers Hate Day?
Yeah.
Not the Ramon hate. Ramon's on Titans Radio tonight, but just the Steelers hate in general.
And Mike Keith got me a lot of swag. I can't wait to wear it too.
Nice.
Yeah,
wow.
he got me some Titans Radio swag out
Love
here.
that.
Wait, so you're going to be wearing a Titan shirt?
Man, hear me out. Hear me out. Again, I told y'all.
Get
Mike
you a man
Keith,
that can do both.
I still don't look him in his eyes when I talk to him. I can't.
We'll talk to you
Mike
about that
Keith,
tomorrow.
We got a real good relationship.
That's right. Well, we also got a real good relationship with our guy B-Mac, Bryant McFadden, former Pittsburgh Steeler, now talking NFL and talking everything on CBS Sports. He joins us coming up next.
It's Ramon and Kayla for Window Nation. I'm here to tell you guys the temperatures are dropping rapidly. Energy costs are on the rise. If you had old, drafty windows, your furnace is working harder than ever to keep your family warm. Window Nation wants to help this month with 0% financing for 5 years, plus 2 free windows with every 2 you buy. Now is the time to protect your family from the elements, lower your energy costs, and upgrade the look and feel of your home.
That's right. And, with the weather changing, Ramon, we're going and maybe feeling that draftiness by the windows, or you're opening your windows and maybe they're not opening properly. That means you need new windows, and you've got to get on them from our friends at Window Nation. You can save up to 30% on your energy bills by just investing in new windows from Window Nation. And look, they have done it, and they have done it professionally. Window Nation installing over 2 million windows with a 96 perfection rate. It is that time of the year. Do not wait until it's too cold out there to invest in your windows. Check them out right now at windownation.com.
RKW brewed by 8th and Roast rolls on right here on 104.5 The Zone with Ramon Foster joining us from Pittsburgh all morning. Kayla Anderson, Robert Walsh, our producer. I'm Will Bowling as we are joined by a man who has worn the black and yellow. He is Bryant McFadden of CBS Sports. B-Mac, what's going on, man? How are you?
Man, it's a great day to be alive. Thank you for having me on. But before we get into our discussion, our conversation, Ramon, is it true that you're going to be in Pittsburgh in Acrisure Stadium wearing Titans gear?
B-Mac.
That's
hey,
a dirty rumor, right? Please tell me that's a dirty rumor. That's not a clean rumor.
Hear me out, okay? Hear me out. You got a second because I got a second, okay? It's just like last weekend, okay? The Titans had the Love You Blue weekend, and out of respect, I wore all black because I don't want to just tread on what those guys laid down here, okay, B-Mac? And because now I've spent 11 years here in Pittsburgh, right? And I'm back for the first time for a Steelers game, but I'm also working sidelines for Titans Radio. Guess what, B-Mac? I'm playing it right down the middle again. All black. I got to.
Okay, I can accept that. You know, you're kind of satisfying both sides. It makes sense. But, you know, inquiring minds wanted to know, so I asked for those inquiring minds.
But, see, you've been on the other side of this thing, B-Mac, okay? How is it on the other side, if I can ask for a second? Because I don't know what I'm getting myself into.
Well, first and foremost, Ramon, please, when you go to the stadium, just remember you're no longer allowed to go to the Steelers locker room. So just know you're going a different direction, but you're going to be with the media, you know what I mean? So you got to handle yourself as such. You know, last time you was actually in that stadium, you was getting ready to go to war, go to battle. You know what I mean? So mentally, when you walk into the stadium, you got to go with a different mindset, but you will have flashbacks. You will get fired up a little bit. But like I said, remember, you're no longer, you know what, Mama, you're a Steeler for life, so you can go into the locker room and speak to a few people. I think they'll let you in there. No question they would.
Yeah, Coach, he let me into the team meeting last night, man. You know that's sacred ground. Can't anybody just go in there? So I was like, okay, I still got a little pull around here. So that just lets me know right there, B-Mac, I'm good.
No question. You got more than a little bit of pull, Ramon. You know everybody highly respects you, man.
Used to be a pulling guard. Now he's a guard with a lot of pull.
No doubt, man. Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
I love it. Well, B-Mac, man, when you look at this game, a lot of the conversation here has just been about the similarity between these two teams and between Mike Vrabel and Mike Tomlin. Where do you kind of begin to evaluate this one? What's the X factor for you in this one tonight?
I mean, which young quarterback is going to play the best football? Which young quarterback is going to be the most consistent? Is the Will Levis that we saw last week is just a one-time thing, or can he continue to show glimpses of those performances, of that performance from a week ago? And for Titan fans, that's what you're hoping. For Pittsburgh, heck, can we see an offense with a pulse? That's the most important thing. The body has been dead all season. Can we finally get a body that has a pulse that can be able to do what many people thought they would do based on their preseason performances? So I think that's the biggest question. Both teams have young quarterbacks. Both teams believe that those two young guys can lead their organization for years to come. And we haven't seen a lot from Will Levis outside of what he did last week. Clearly, you have to applaud him for his performance. And for Kenny, you're still waiting. So I think that's the deciding factor for me.
B-Mac, out of this game this weekend tonight, Minkah Fitzpatrick's not playing, but Cam's back, right? I have to ask you as a DB, man, how do you supplement a game without Minkah Fitzpatrick?
Oh, man, it's going to be tough because he's a difference maker, but not having Minkah and not having Cam is a double blow. You know, at least you get in a guy that has been a stalwart on the front for quite some time. I believe he's a future Hall of Famer. And I think knowing and seeing how vulnerable the Steelers' defense has been against opposing offensive rushing attack, that should be a plus. But as you mentioned, with not having Minkah, it's going to be a committee-like effort to kind of replenish some of the production that will be lost with him not being in the lineup. But I think they should be okay. I'm okay. I'm not okay not having Mick in the lineup, but I feel a little more at ease, Ramon, knowing that Cam is coming back, even though we will be without Minkah.
Yeah, and the other side of this too, man, is the threat that Derrick Henry, presents to almost every single team, man. How important is it for that Titans team to get established? Because B-Mac, in your era of playing, they didn't give up many yards, and it seems like now they are primed for the picking of giving up a lot of yards on the ground.
Oh, no question. I mean, a lot of offenses have had success against Pittsburgh Steelers run defense, and that, historically speaking, that's something that we always wanted to neutralize or efface, opposing grounds, offense's ground attack. And that's where with a young quarterback, you want to make sure you make that offense one-dimensional. So take out the running game. It got to be It got to be a defender by committee. And talking on the podcast with me and Pat P, All Things Covered, I said when you play against a guy like Derrick Henry, you got to play ant defense. You know what I mean? I don't know if you guys know what ant defense is, but just imagine walking outside and dropping some crumbs on the street. Just imagine, look how many ants run to that street crumb. Everybody got to run to the ball when Derrick Henry has the ball because one man is not going to get him down. You got to play ant defense. You have to swarm to the football to number 22 because we know he can take over a game by himself. And when he's running, I believe the Tennessee Titans offense, they're at their best.
When it comes to what you've seen so far out of the veteran in DeAndre Hopkins, and it looks like he's good to go with that ankle, he was questionable. But with building rapport that quickly with a rookie quarterback where they haven't had much time together in terms of practice, you surprised at all by that?
No question I was surprised. You guys were surprised. Let's keep it real. Let's keep it real, Tennessee Titan fans. Y'all was super surprised to see what happened last week against Atlanta. Number one, D-Hop has been quiet the entire season, and we're not saying he was quiet because he just lost it. He just didn't get a chance to really showcase who he is. Number two, Will Levis jumped into a uniform and was looking like Dan Marino. I mean, those deep passes he was throwing was extremely beautiful. So, yeah, it was like, who was throwing the football again? So I was surprised. You guys were surprised. And now, because of what you saw last week, let's keep it real, Tennessee. Y'all feel a little bit better about the season based on what Will showcased last week. Now, the question is, can he continue that? Because he set the bar extremely high with over 200 yards, 4 passing touchdowns, a few splash plays. I mean, now it's like, okay, Will, we know you can play. We don't know if that was a mistake or not, but you showed us that, and that's what we're looking for. So I was surprised to see D-Hop play the way he did last week, solely because he had a rookie quarterback throwing him the football.
So T.J. Watt has a time of sack average of 3.71 seconds on his 8.5 sacks this season. So what kind of challenge does he pose differently than others? And what does this offensive line for the Titans have to do to at least keep him at bay?
Oh, my goodness. T.J. Watt is a grown man. Man, listen. And shameless plug for T.J. Watt. Stop acting like this man ain't the best defender in football. Stop doing that, everybody. I understand Myles Garrett has been doing some good things. No knock on him. But name me another pass rusher that has been more consistent than T.J. Watt. Name me another defender that has been more of a playmaker than T.J. Watt. T.J. Watt has been our best defender and our best offensive player the entire season. Hands down. He is that guy. So going back to your initial question, listen, T.J. Watt, you're not going to block him with one guy. You're not. And if you do, he's going to make you pay at some point in time. And that's who he's been his entire professional career. And that's why I think he will go down as one of the all-time greats in regards to defenders for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And that's saying a lot because we know about the legendary names that have played on the defensive side for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I need T.J. Watt to really dominate and harass Will Levis. I understand Halloween is gone, but I need Will Levis to see ghosts tonight.
Bryant McFadden, CBS Sports, our guest. We'll be back along those same lines. How will Mike Tomlin and his defense try to confuse Will Levis tonight in taking away that deep throw? Because if there's one thing the Steelers, I would imagine, are going into this game wanting to take away, not named Derrick Henry, it's these 50-yard bombs to DeAndre Hopkins. How do you think they do it?
Yeah, you got to keep everything in front of you. You got to make them go the length of the football field. That was one of our major philosophies when I played in Pittsburgh. We never felt like a team can go the length of the football field on us consistently for 4 quarters. But we did. We knew that if we allowed big plays, that would really improve their chances to score points on us. So for Pittsburgh, you got to keep everything in front of you, because you look at that game last week against the Atlanta Falcons, those splash plays led to huge scoring opportunities for the Titans, and they cashed in on them. If I'm the Pittsburgh Steelers and they have allowed some splash plays throughout the course of this year, throwing and running the football, you got to protect the end zone. You got to play lengthy defense. Make them drive the length of the football field and see can they do that for 4 quarters, especially with a rookie quarterback. And also, too, when you're playing against rookie quarterbacks, defensively, you want to start fast. You want to make sure you don't allow that young guy in tonight's game, who is Will Levis, to gain confidence. Because that's what we saw last week. We saw Will Levis gain confidence. Every quarter he was gaining more confidence, and he was able to put that confidence on display by doing what he was supposed to do, by delivering big-time passes.
Well, B-Mac, we talk a lot about Christian Fulton, this Titans secondary here in Nashville, and specifically the disappointing start to the season for Fulton at corner with some big misses, some big penalties. Was certainly much better last week, and reports were that he went back to Miami, worked with his personal trainer the bye week, kind of got right again, and you could tell the difference on Sunday against Atlanta. When he is right, how high is his ceiling, and what have you seen from him this year in a huge contract season?
I mean, when he's right, your defense is better. Your secondary is better. He's the best corner you have on your defense. So when he's doing what he's supposed to do, everybody follows suit. In regards to his ceiling, I mean, we know he has potential. It's just about being consistent. That's the thing. When you look at some of the high-level corners in the National Football League, they're consistent. You know what you're going to get from them play in and play out. And that's the thing that he needs to find. Showing up, being the same guy, play in and play out. Because for you guys as Titan fans, you've been waiting for him, right? You've been waiting for him for quite some time to really be that consistent stalwart in the secondary to deliver plays and also just do what he's supposed to do. So for him, he has that consistent stride, because great players are always consistent. You know what you're going to get from them week in and week out. Doesn't matter who you're going against. That's the person that's the player he needs to find most importantly, and continue to deliver for the Tennessee Titans, because they want to pay him. They want to pay him. They ain't got who else they going to pay money to at the cornerback position. So, heck, it's there for him. He just got to show them a little piece of consistency.
B-Mac, across this league, man, there are certain guys that get that praise. Like you mentioned, Myles Garrett a second ago, and Aaron Donald's always going to be that one, or maybe it's dependent upon which market you're in. But for a guy like Jeffrey Simmons, man, that if you play him, you know who the heck he is. B-Mac, I have to ask you, because you've been in the, post-retirement a little bit longer than I have and understand the media a little bit better than me. What does a guy have to do to get that national praise to where you're like, yeah, Jeffrey Simmons is in this conversation, or him and Cam both in this conversation, or Fletcher Cox? What does Jeff have to do to continue to rise up with those guys that have those types of names? Because he's doing the job.
Man, listen, because of the market that he's in, and I'm not saying the Tennessee market is a flat line type market, but it's not like some of the other organizations that we know in the NFL. So because of the market that he's in, the thing he needs to do is talk more. Give us something to talk about. Not necessarily saying give us predictions, but run your mouth. Run your mouth, because as you mentioned, Ramon, this man has been a beast. Yeah. Since day one, he's been a beast. He's been that type of player. Look what he did last week. Oh, my goodness. He hit Bijan Robinson so hard one time, I thought he flew into the third row. This guy is a beast. He's not one-dimensional. He's a run stuffer. He's a pass rusher. He's a tone setter. He's a physical guy, plays with proper sound technique. I mean, he has everything you want your defender to have, plus more, but he's not getting the recognition because of the market. That's no knock on him. That's just how it works in the National Football League. So to answer your question, run your mouth. Yeah. Run your mouth. Talk more. Jeffrey Simmons remind me of Dane Leonard when he was in Portland. Outstanding player, but no one really put him on that pedestal like the Currys of the world because, of course, the winning, but also to the market, the national spotlight, the stages. So for me, on a national stage, I'm a Pittsburgh Steeler, so I'm not saying that he needs to ball out tonight. On the other national stage, take advantage of it, Jeffrey, and run your mouth a little bit. Talk some trash.
Yeah, folks, and if you want to see him run his mouth, go to NFL on X/Twitter. He was mic'd up, man. I was fired up after that. So if you haven't heard him, Jeff mic'd up, go check that out. Here's my question for you. So they played Renegade this week at practice. For the 20 minutes that I saw at practice, BMAC, they played it 2 times. So I can't imagine how many times. I loved on Twitter this week seeing all the reaction from Pittsburgh fans like, this is disrespectful, or people were like, I kind of like it. Paint the picture of when that plays, what it's like as a player, how it really can turn the page.
Oh, man, for us as defenders, when we used to hear Renegade, especially when it was Steeler weather, it's late, it's cold, somebody was going to get kicked in the mouth. Somebody's teeth was going to get kicked out, like for no reason. It was just, that was an opportunity when you hear Renegade, let's get in a bar fight for no reason. Let's just hit somebody real quick and just let them know we're here. In football terms, we're running into somebody. We was going to let the Rydell do the talking. And Ramon know how it felt, man, especially those playoff atmospheres, man. When it's fourth quarter, somebody got to make a play. They dim those lights, and you hear that doom, 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 doom. Man, I feel like I can run through a brick wall. Like, I felt like there's nothing I couldn't do at that moment because of the feeling of the stadium, man. It does something to your body. And I tell this to every football fan that's watching or listening to us right now, listening to us. And when you're watching the game and you're not even anywhere close to the stadium, you can feel that momentum and that energy coming from your TV screen. You feel it. It's something, it goes through your body. It touches your soul. So for us, when we have that helmet on and it's our job to deliver a blow that's going to make your uncle and your aunt feel it, and we hear Renegade, we got to go ahead and do it. Let's run through a wall. Let's make somebody feel how we feel right now.
BMAC, on the way out, there's been a lot of discussion here, too, about whether or not Will Levis should already have earned the QB1 job for the rest of the season. If he goes out and has a good performance, bad performance, whatever it is tonight, in your eyes, should he already be the guy the rest of the way, or does he need to prove it again tonight in primetime?
No, he should be I mean, no knock on Ryan Tannehill, but we know who Ryan Tannehill is right now. I mean, let's keep it real. You drafted Will Levis with the thought that eventually he will be your starting quarterback. That's why you drafted him. Unfortunately, it didn't look like it was working out with Malik for whatever reason. But that's why you drafted Will Levis where you drafted him. And what he did last week made you feel extremely good, like, he's actually better than we thought. Because let's keep it real. The Tennessee Titans coaches didn't think Will Levis was going to do what he did last week. No. They can sit here and say, yeah, we expected that. Stop lying. No, you did not. You did not. So why are we going back to an episode that we know what's going to happen in the episode? Like, stop watching old episodes and they hoping for a different outcome. No. You know, at the end of the day, someone is going to go missing and they're going to find up dead somewhere in the episode. Like, okay, we know that. Why are we hoping for a different outcome when you watch the episode 10 times already? And that's what I feel like if you go back to Ryan Tannehill, you know how the episode is going to end, right? So let's go ahead and get ready for the future. Build this young man up, allow him to gain experience. Because let's keep it real. If you go back to Ryan Tannehill this year, I'm going to ask you guys a question. Who will be the starting quarterback in 2024? Are you going to keep Ryan Tannehill? Are you going to re-up his contract situation or what? What happens?
Wow.
It's true.
I'm waiting for
Big Mac,
to answer the question.
You've been, because I've been sitting on this, and it's for this, right? And I know we're up against it. I need to see it again because if it goes out and it's the opposite of what happened last week, okay, well, Ryan Tannehill's your starter. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's been my contingency. Plus, I'm of the mindset you can't lose your job as an injured player. Where are you at?
So, okay, I'm right there with you, but I asked you guys a question, Ramon.
Yeah.
If he has a letdown of a performance tonight, you go back to Ryan Tannehill, who is starting for you next year in 2024?
Exactly.
Will Levis.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then. All right. Okay. So if that's the case, well, let's go ahead and get him ready.
Yeah.
Because prime example, Arthur Smith hurt Desmond Ridder last year by not putting him in the fire and allowing him to gain experience because they all knew Marcus Mariota was only going to be there for 1 year.
Right. It's true.
Go ahead,
Facts.
especially with the season kind of being derailed. Let's go and get the young fellas some opportunities to learn how to be a professional quarterback. And then when they finally threw him in there in year 2, he had no chance to gain experience. It was the time was now, and he lost that opportunity. And now he's flatlined. His confidence is gone.
BMAC spitting facts with us here this morning on a Titans and Steelers game day. Bryant McFadden of CBS Sports. BMAC, appreciate it as always, man. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, B-Mac.
Yes, sir. There he is.
Love it.
Making sure that Ramon comes correct with the right color coordination.
Love that.
He did. That's been my number. Teron hit me up too, asking the same thing. It's like that. It's like, are you going? What are you gonna do whenever they play Renegade? I'm like, oh my god, you too, TD.
I love everybody's checking in with you. They're like, hey, you got to come check in with me when you come to the city. Make sure you check in with me.
Yeah, it's like that, Bert.
All those how's your heart texts you'd get in youth group in high school. Hey, how's your heart? 615-737-1045. Final. That was the polite way. That was the easiest way to slide in DMs. Hey, how's your heart doing? We'll wrap up the show. Your final predictions for Titans and Steelers coming up next.
It's Ramon Foster for Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical, y'all, and it's getting colder quickly, and a lot of you probably are firing up that heat for the first time this season and this week, okay? If your system is older or having lots of issues keeping your house warm already, it's probably time for HVAC replacement, okay? There's no better time to replace your system than right now. Hiller is having the biggest sale ever on select HVAC systems, where you can get up to $2,600 off a new system up until November 15th. Get it, y'all, okay? Don't waste no time for it. This is the biggest discount they've had in years. And Hiller's work is also backed by their Happy You'll Be or the service is free guarantee. They've come to my house and it's been exactly that, okay? And I was happy with the service, all right? And Hiller offers convenient, quick online booking and select the appointment time that works for you and get an instant confirmation. Hiller techs are background checked and drug screened, and they'll make sure they leave your home better and cleaner than they found it. If you need anything done around your house, okay, reach out to the folks that I trust at happyhiller.com.
This makes me sick hearing this today.
Boy.
Wrapping up the show on RKW, brewed by 8th and Rose. Ramon Foster has his hands up. He did not choose this.
Wait, you told me to play this last segment, Ramon. You told me to play this the last one.
Bird has been a double agent right now, man.
Wow.
He tried to get me to play Renegade earlier, and I was like, I will not do that.
I'm not going that far.
I'm not going to, so quit asking.
That's so you, Bird. Man,
Interesting.
that's crazy.
Really interesting.
Hey.
I do like this song.
That song took us to the Super Bowl.
Oh, boy.
Oh.
It did, for real.
Cool.
It must be nice.
Must be
nice. Some of us had to go to our own Super Bowls.
Boy.
615-737-1045. James in Nashville up next with us this morning. Hey, James.
How y'all doing? Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Wanted to touch base with the game about the game tonight. I think personally it's going to come down, as a lifelong Steelers fan but a Nashville native, it's going to end up coming down to our O-line holding off Jeffrey Simmons and defense. It's going to be a defensive battle game. I think it's going to be pretty low scoring, honestly. Probably 2017, something like that. It's going to hurt with Minka being out for sure. I think that if the O-line holds up, gives Kenny enough time, I think the Steelers might end up pulling it off. And on a personal side note to Mr. Foster, we lost our son back Christmas of 2021 as lifelong Steelers fans. And I sent you a little personal message on Facebook with a picture. And if you have time to look at that, it'd be appreciated.
No doubt. Sorry about that. I hardly ever check my Facebook. Sorry about that, but I will see if I can find that message, man. Goodness. Sorry about that, my brother.
Thank you, James. Appreciate the call. Got a lot of half Steeler, half Titans.
Yeah.
That is the confusing thing, is that there are so many Steelers fans that have always watched this show because they support Ramon. And I've had to remind myself who in our F&M Beg chat is a Steelers person or a Titans person over the week. They're like, oh, yeah, you're a Steelers person.
Right.
And you watch us every day.
I will tell you the difference. We work with a lot of good-looking people here, but everybody I saw in that Pittsburgh studio that he is in is ugly as sin, boy.
I hope you're only on your headphones in there.
Is a dog, man. Nashville got beautiful people. Pittsburgh got Pitts, man.
Hey, Bert, you are something else, man. That's why I love you, my dog.
Matt in Lafayette gets the final word this morning here on our Game Day RKW. What's up, Matt?
Hey guys, love the show. I think Nick Folk's gonna be a lot more involved in this game than in the last. I think the final score is gonna be 2014. They'll be able to stop us in some of the red zone, but I think that Will Levis hopefully can score a couple of touchdowns. I had a question also about T.J. Watt and Ramon. I was going to get your opinion. Is there anything that the O-line will have a different strategy with his injury? Like, will they be able to use certain angles because obviously he's going to be weaker on that hand? Will they be able to use a certain strategy to hopefully tie him up?
Thank you, Matt.
I answer your question real quick. If TJ could cut that hand off to make a play, he would.
Yeah.
Just go.
Old Patrick Willis club.
Right?
Oh, my, yeah. It won't affect much at all when we're talking about a hand. Knee, ankle, back, yeah, it's different. But that hand, he cut it off.
Yep.
I think this game's decided by whether or not T.J. Watt makes a massive play that immediately results in Steelers points. I think it all comes down to that. If T.J. Watt is a game wrecker the way Myles Garrett was against Andre Dillard, it's going to be a long night for the Titans. If the Titans can somehow neutralize him, I think the Titans win tonight.
And just as big on the other side, Jeffrey Simmons and crew got to be wrecking balls, right? Got to hit Kenny Pickett in the ribs.
Yep.
Smoked ribs.
Both offensive lines got challenges, big-time challenges.
Yep.
They do.
Going to be fun. Classic AFC Central battle tonight in prime time at the Artist, formerly known as Heinz Field. We are back at it tomorrow morning for a Reaction Friday and hopefully a Victory Friday.
Catch up with you now or then.
Ramona, stay warm on the sideline. Enjoy it. Have fun. I know you will.
Yeah.
But
I will.
It's the Ramon Foster Bowl in Pittsburgh tonight, meaning that you, as always, get the last word to send the people home this morning.
I do, man. Either way, I win. Either way, I lose. That's why I look at tonight. But remember at all times, if you tweeting at me tonight, your Twitter fingers and your mic is always hot.